today to be with us. Okay, guys, firstly, I would like to invite you all. One, you've paid attention to participate and enjoy the webinar with us, but I'd like to invite you all to this weekend's events with us. And come and enjoy the cattle, come and enjoy the auction. It's always a big event. It's a nice event. It's our 11th production auction, but at the same time, it's our 25th Boran auction. Imagine that. I didn't think we'd start out saying one day we'd have 25 auctions, but it's our 25th time that we've gone through this process of having Boran auctions. Each one is stressful, each one is exciting, and this one will undoubtedly be the same. But if you can make it, come and see the animals, come and join us. Obviously, the online platforms of Meerkat and Swiftbee are both available. Farm Talk will stream the auction live, but really to appreciate the animals is why we are in agriculture and in beef farming. And yeah, if you can, come and join us and come and be with us. Before we go through the catalog, which is ultimately why we're here, for some sort of understanding behind the bloodlines and the background, I just want to say that I'm very, very proud of this auction offering. And by the time we put it all together and crystallize the 40 lots, which is all we have on offer for the sale, and analyze afterwards, I kind of shocked myself as to how and what this auction catalog actually is. So you've seen a few posts already, and thank you for bearing with me with that, because I know it's a bit much to absorb. But really, out of the 40 lots on offer, to have 47 different sires used to create 40 lots is, for me, a huge statement. It's a huge statement in strength of the herd, depth of the herd, genetic diversity. You know, it represents 118% of genetic diversity. And I think that that's a huge statement for any stud breeder, regardless of the fact that it happens to be in the Boran breed. I just think that, you know, different sires, different combinations are used. So there's really a flavor for everything. And when you do come to the sale on Saturday and you see the consistency in the actual overall product, it shows you that our selection criteria throughout the year and what we do is really strict in order to create a uniform herd with functional traits out of such diversity in genetics. One normally gets that through line breeding. So you line breed in order to try and get, that's just the theory of it, to try and get to you know, a uniform product. But there's pros and cons with that also. Sometimes you can line breed yourself into a corner too. But clearly we're trying our best to line breed, but at the same time to outcross and diversify. And again, you know, that's very nice genetic diversity. 14 out of the 23 cows on offer are cows and calves. You'll see that when we go through the auction, as a policy, we like to sell cows with calves. We don't like to sell pregnant cows. So for me as a buyer, I have the same philosophy. When I buy cattle, I don't want to buy, unless I can avoid it, but I don't particularly want to buy a cow without a calf. I'd like to see a calf with its mother at foot in order to see the functional efficiency of both animals and the potential of what I'm getting as a buyer. So I have that philosophy as well when I'm a seller. On this occasion, the only exception is lot 11, which is the older cow, but we'll talk about that when we get there. So to have 14 out of 23 3-in-1s, I think that's a big statement from a fertility point of view, especially at this time of year when weaning has already happened, certainly where we kind of farm. 13 out of 22 calves on the sale are heifer calves, which shows, again, our willingness to really share the genetics, share the herd, and guarantee future production within those genetics for breeders. 60% being heifers is, again, for me, a big statement. Not many people like to sell heifers because, you know, you sell the cow, but yet you keep the heifer. At least you've kept the genetics in the herd. But clearly, this is a little bit different. The DNA has been done of all the animals, cows and calves. Final pregnancy tests were done on Monday. So updated pregnancies were done. There is one change to the catalog with a very early 3-in-1, which is lot 15B, being 3 weeks pregnant, which is a cow Gabriella we'll get to. Obviously, a vet is not going to certify 3 weeks of pregnancy, and anything can happen. But you know, it's nice to know that she has taken, and the scan showed that there was something happening there. As far as the medical tests, that's all been done, taken care of, and I think the herd and the offering is good to go. If you are coming to the sale, please go through the process of the online registration on our website. which is boranauction.co.za. It's very important. It streamlines the access control process. It streamlines the security control process. And our auctions do pack a bit of a crowd, and it certainly helps to know who's coming and who's wanting to come just to be a spectator versus for a purpose. So please do that. It really takes no more than 1 minute. And if you've done it before, it's probably going to auto fill you out, and just click submit and you're done. Then you'll get an email and you'll be registered, or you'll get a phone call to find out more information. Then I know I'm taking long, but I'm trying to get through this quickly while I've still got the attention of most. In May this year, we launched a new auction called the Herwitz and Friends auction. Now, the Herwitz and Friends auction, I think to date, has been a very successful auction with the 2025 calendar. A lot of you on the call already were there, participated, bought cattle, and enjoyed. It was a sale that was comprised of 22 different sellers, and the theme of the sale was Herwitz farming, Herwitz genetics. And the ticket to being a part of that sale has been and will continue to be through the purchase of Herwitz farming genetics, Herwitz farming cattle, BH bred animals on production auctions, our own, and where we happen to be a seller, for example, a national sale or a sale of the bonds, etc., etc. So the ticket into becoming part of that club and that sale is actually through the purchase of animals. And those that would like to know that in the future you have a potential outlet to sell your cattle, well, this is how you take the ticket to win the lotto. This is where it actually starts from. So I think that sale will grow and grow in popularity. The commercial offering was excellent. The stud offering was excellent. Very strict rules. And again, the foundation genetics happens to be Herwitz farming, and something revolutionary in the cattle industry. Nobody does it, and I think eventually people will catch on. So I think the point has been made, but it's a lifelong entry. So, one bull and its heifers and its bull calves for the rest of eternity allows a participation onto that sale. It's not limited, it's lifetime. So keep that in mind, and at least you know that in years to come, you'll have an outlet, a potential outlet, provided the animal meets other criteria to be able to afford and put the animal on the sale. There we go, guys. Welcome to the auction. Welcome to the webinar. And I think without further ado, let's get on with it. So I just want to run through the catalog, which is ultimately the purpose of this. There's the date and the time and the place and the venue. Our premier sponsor for this auction is Johnson Workwear. And there they are. Johnson will be there in full force. They've been associated with us now for a number of years. We're very proud of that association, and they're doing a lot. They're doing a lot for clothing and awareness and agriculture and security industry and everywhere else. That we really have become very dependent on what Johnson does, I think, as South African consumers. So thank you very much to Johnson for partnering with us and obviously supplying us and kitting us out with all our clothing. Our corporate sponsors are there, Class and Kempston again, and Eastwell. They've been with us since inception. Our platinum sponsors, without having to name them all, but you can see it's quite a nice list of firm businesses, that are progressive as far as business and agriculture is concerned. Our gold sponsors, and then our silver sponsors. And all of these people will be represented at the auction. So if you'd like to get in touch with them, their gazebos will be there, and they'll have representatives on hand in order to answer questions, and maybe you become a client of theirs or vice versa. Beverage sponsors always keep us nicely hydrated, and that's how it goes. So there's a welcome letter, a bit of a summary as to what we do as Herwitz Farming, but you can read that in your own time if you'd like to. The auction rules under the auspices of the society. Very important that it's governed, and all rules are applied to all auctions the same, fairly. Animals are screened by inspectors, and they all meet functional and breed standards. Functional efficiency, breed standards, and pass the final check. Okay, I'm just going through this quite quickly, and there we go. So if you can see, I don't know, it's shared screen, but I mean, this animal, Tinus, on your side, is it cut off a little bit?
A little bit, just a table.
Yeah. There, Dennis. Is that better? I've just moved. Wait, I don't know what I did now. Just open it like that. Oh, but now it's gone.
No, that's perfect.
Yeah, but I can't see everybody else now. Must I just drag it bigger? Guys, hang on a sec.
you go.
Cool. Okay. Thank you very much. Oh, again, the bottom. No.
What I can do for you is do this. You can see the flow of it. And your pen is fine.
Okay. Thanks very much, guys. All right, lot one. Those that have become accustomed with our sales for a while now will know that we don't start an auction with just an average animal. This is a proper animal. This is a magnificent heifer. Without even looking at the paperwork and looking at the pedigree and looking at the rest of it, if we just look at her and the photo of her, you know, in my opinion, this is a standout heifer. She's absolutely beautiful. She's feminine. She's balanced. She's deep. She's wedging. Her pigment is beautiful. Is right. It's deep dark. I mean, you can see the pigment again coming through on the eyes. And I think that this is just a great example of the Boran breed, and something to kick off our sale with a hell of a lot of respect, because I think that this is a standout heifer and a standout animal and will one day become a magnificent breeding cow. So this is her, 22503, and she is a daughter of this bull Hulk. So we've tried our best to embed some of the animals like that. There's her sire into the actual pedigree, into the catalog, so you can see what's going on. And there we are. So there's the sire. His name is Hulk. Hulk. There you are. I'm just going to do that. Right. There you go. There we go. We're all together. Okay. Hulk is a direct son of Ferrari, FN 10527. Now, Ferrari is also the sire of Lot 5, Mowgli. We'll talk about that when we get there. But this Hulk bred and did really, really well for us. We bought a herd out of hand. We bought the Green Boar herd. The Green Boar herd was basically a flushing program between, well, they were I don't know, they did a flush together with Francois Smith. That's why the majority of the animals go back to the FN herd, as you can see over there, Francois Smith's herd, Fontaine Boran, and GN Green Boar became, you know, the prefix that they were registered by. So this was a hell of a bull. He's gone now, and he bred some magnificent animals and progeny for us. But this Ferrari bull really did the talking. When we bought the herd, and so Ferrari was the major sire in that herd, and they came out and we had to do the inspection here, all of the Ferrari progeny really, really stood out, and Ferrari became a very underrated bull, but certainly had an impact for us in the breed. If I look at the genetics and the pedigree of this particular animal, I want to highlight something for you and also for guys that are pretty much starting out in the breed. Okay. There are some hands raised. We can ask them. I see Moses has got a question. Can ask them with pleasure, Moses. Let me just finish this particular animal, and then you can answer your question. Just click off your mute, and then you can ask the question. Okay, let me just continue here for a second. This the pedigree here speaks volumes to me, because this has got the 3 foundation blocks as far as the breed is concerned, and breeding a consistent looking animal like that. And those foundation blocks, in my opinion, again, this is all a subjective discussion, is 717. This KB28W goes back to a bull PM14R, which is a Zambian bull. There we go. Sorry, there. And this 526 was a bull Koning there, who goes back to 2459. 2459. Sorry, not so easy with a mouse. This 3-way cross of 717, which goes back to a bull 494, PM14R, and 2459. Wherever you find the 3 of them in the pedigree together, you've kind of got a winning recipe. And that's why you get an animal that looks like that. And 9 times out of 10, if you've got these 3 somewhere in the generation, you're almost guaranteed to have a superior animal. Now, if I take a deeper look into this animal and actually look at some standouts, this KB28W is a Zambian bull who sold on a national auction 1 year, and he was the highest priced selling animal on a national auction 1 year. This is a bull Big Red, who was sold by the late Christo Crawford. Big Red was the highest price selling bull in a national auction a few years ago. This Koning was a bull that was sold, the first bull that was sold for major money in the breed, 900,000 Rand by a consortium. And back over here, this CFH 06847 was a bull Speermeester, and Speermeester was the father of a bull Tarzan, who Wessel Meyer sold at a national auction, which was the highest priced animal. So in this pedigree already, we've got, you know, 3 KB28W, Big Red, and okay, a half brother, half sister to Tarzan. 3 animals that were highest priced bulls on the national sale 1 year. And again, look at the quality that's coming through and look at the femininity that's coming through. So for me to start off a sale with such an animal is a real credit to what we've managed to achieve over here. Okay, somebody had a question. Moses had a question. That was Moses, eh?
Yeah,
Moses, if you'd like to ask your question. Moses? No. Okay, if you've
Otherwise, just put in the, they can just start it in the column and I will send it to you.
Okay. Otherwise, Moses or anybody else, if you've got a question, you're more than welcome to type it, and then we will get it to us and we'll read it and answer it. No problem. Okay, let's move on to lot 2. Lot 2 is, again, look at this. This is just functional efficiency par excellence, just shouting, screaming, talking to you. Okay, already it's a 3-in-1, as we can see over there. It's an Indlovu daughter, and it's Segera. Segera is a famous cow in the breed and in our herd. We named it Segera, and Segera happens to be the dam line of Picasso. I'll show you now. But again, if you look at the cow-calf ratio, and they were weighed today, it's already at 50%. So this bull calf is already 50% of the mother's weight, showing you again that the mother, has the potential to raise functionally efficient progeny and calves. This bull Indlovu is the sire of this cow. Indlovu we sold a few years ago for a good, it was our house price at the time, 900,000 Rand. We sold him to Sterkfontein. Boran, he's had a great impact in their herd. And Ruan Mankies once said to me that the best investment he's made in his herd actually was buying this bull. And he was a hell of a bull. He's gone now also, but a tremendous sire. So there's Indlovu, as you can see. And here's Olifant. And he is an Olifant son out of this cow, Chantal, who also bred magnificent animals, still around, still producing. And there's Olifant and Indlovu. We'll talk about Olifant just now because lot 6 happens to be an Olifant daughter. On the dam side, we've got cow Segera, who goes back to TLM 0422. Segera. This cow here is the mother of Picasso. Elton, I think your microphone is... There you go, Elton. Okay. TLM 0422, she's the mother of Picasso. This bull here, TLM 0312, is a bull Knopkiri. 2738 is the same sire who bred Eros. So this is very nice combination of genetics and a lovely combination to see 2 proven bull breeders in Enbor 0815 Chantal and Segera TLM 0422. So when I look at a catalog, I look at the cows. I look at the cows, and I think most stud breeders do as well, who bred the bulls. She bred bulls, she bred bulls. Now, by the law of averages, one can assume that this cow is also going to breed bulls because she's got it in the bloodstream. She's got it in the genetics. And if you look at a calf like this, boom, I say there's a bull. Well done. She's proven herself, and this is her first calf. So if a cow like this can already breed like this, then you know you've got something special. And already being a 3-in-1, and she's 5 months pregnant. So that's what I think is a very exciting prospect. And if we look at the pedigree of the calf, this is the pedigree of the calf, who happens to be a Casanova son. There's Casanova over there. Casanova is the full brother to Cyclone, the bull we sold last year into Zimbabwe. So there were 3 brothers, Cyclone, Casanova, and Chagall. Chagall is in Zambia, which means that progeny out of Cyclone and progeny out of Chagall will become very limited in this country, which means Casanova is really the opportunity to get something out of this combination of genetics, which is Picasso and a cow by the name of Cremora. What's also interesting for me over here with the pedigree of the calf is that the calf is line bred to this super cow Segera. There it is. So that's line breeding in the generation, the 3rd generation, to this very special cow, which means that this little bull calf has the potential to breed phenomenal heifers as he goes through the gears and he matures and he starts to become a breeding cow with the ingredients of Cremora, and we've got Chantal, and we've got line bred Segera over there. And I think that this is going to be a super little sire one day, and I think he's going to breed the majority Bont because he's got it in the pigment. And as we said, she's 5 months pregnant. There we are. 5 months pregnant, and as I said, pregnancy tests were redone today. Lot 3 is a lovely cow, Batsheva. The Batsheva line for us appears on many auctions because it's such a consistent breeding line. The original Batsheva is a cow here, TLM 0514, who we bought out of Elof Miller. We did a deal with Elof a few years ago when he was still in the breed, and we bought a few heifers, went down to Mossel Bay, had a look. We bought the heifers, and at the same time I said to Elof, you're not flushing cows. What about adding a few older cows to this transaction? So at least we have the opportunity to flush them. And for him, it was a no-brainer, and we managed to pick up a few of his matriarchs. So TLM 0514 came out of Elof's herd, and she happens to be the full sister to a bull Baltazar. And Baltazar is a thick-set, stocky Buffel son. As you can see, there's Buffel. And he really bred consistently. He did very well in late Bux van der Berg's herd. He then moved on to Jan Vos Grey's herd, Jan Vos Landgoed, and I think he did excellently. But Batsheva over here, as I said, that's a hell of a cow, and she has consistently produced magnificently. Her RCP is 376 days over 10 calves, full sister to Baltazar out of 717. Now, 717 is a legend in our breed, and an opportunity to get a direct 717 combined with, Buffel is already, 2/3 of the puzzle that I spoke about earlier, being 494 plus Buffel, and to put it on some PM14 Boris, and you got that winning formula as far as I'm concerned. But to get a direct 717, they don't exist so much anymore. All the genetics on the dam side, and I think a genetic masterpiece, which is really worthy of flushing. Her RCP is very good, 408 over 4. That's 408 days over 4 calves. Her breeding values are good, and she's already a 3-in-1, being 2 months pregnant to Horizon. Horizon, there's a picture of him later. Horizon, I think, is our top sire at the moment in the herd. He's a Hublot son. He's a Bond bull. He's the bull that's currently running with these auction animals as a potential 3-in-1. And I think that it's really a flashing opportunity and a very good cow. The sire of the calf is Walnut. So they're BH 1838 Walnut. Walnut features quite heavily in the catalog. Walnut is a King Shaka son out of Wasabi, and Wasabi is there were only 3 cows in South Africa out of that dam line, which was Z7F 108, which was an old jogi cow back in the Kenyan days, and the sire there is 3094. So different genetics on the dam side. Wasabi did very well for us and bred beautifully. Also, the mother of a bull QT 0801, who was a herd sire in Vessel Meyer's herd for many years. So there you go. So Wasabi and King Shaka did beautifully, and I think, as you can see, this heifer calf over here, and you'll see the rest of his progeny, they really did beautifully. So there we go, as far as lot 3 is concerned. Lot 4 is back to another heifer. Lot 4 is a Tamboti daughter. There's Tamboti. Tamboti is a direct B96615 son, who we bought from Dylan Mankies. I think it was his first auction and on Sterkfontein sale. A hell of a bull. We bought him for a specific reason. He's a bigger framed bull. And I think, the direct 96615 factor for me made a huge difference, and is certainly a line I've liked to concentrate on in our herd, and for very good reason. We'll talk about it more when we get to lot 10, 11, 12, etc. So this is her. She's a magnificent heifer. She's deep, she's feminine, she's balanced. Her pigment is magnificent. And I think that she'll surprise a lot of people when we see her at the sale, because she really is stunning. She's a champagne color. And when you look at her, you just want to keep looking at her. So she meets the eye. She's soft on the eye, which is a saying. And I think she's absolutely gorgeous. If I look at the genetic pedigree over here, we have 2 unbelievable matriarchs that make up this animal as her grandmothers. So we've got 96615, who is the matriarch of the breed. She's bred them all. She's bred the females. She's bred the bulls. She's really been instrumental in the breeding and the building of the Boran herd in South Africa. This cow, Alicia FNO 8422, is a white cow. She's been magnificent in our herd. She's also the sire of a bull Caesar that we've used, who happens to be out of 717. So this Alicia for us and this 615 is 2 phenomenal matriarchs as far as the breed is concerned, and I think they've done a beautiful job. I'll never forget one of the visits that Christopher, the breed advisor, technical advisor, came to us. We were driving through the herds, and back in the day we still were breeding with the white herd, an exclusive white herd, and they were just walking along the horizon. And Christopher said, just stop the bucky. And as this whole herd proceeded past him from about 100 meters away, He picked this animal out just by silhouette, and he said, "Who is that? That's the one." And that's a proper cow. And that was FNO 8422, and that's Alicia, and she really, really was a magnificent cow. Combined with 68, which is FNO 668 Jose, who happens to go back to Marula 25. So the pedigree over here and the genetics over here is excellent. The dam lines are superb, and that's why you start to see EBVs that read like a dream. Cow value 122, growth 122, you can read them for yourselves. But everything over here, including milk, is superior. And that's why I think the world of this animal, and she comes in at lot number 4. She's fantastic. And that's also a reason why we AI'd her with WZ 1452, which is Jumbo. Again, we think the world of Jumbo as a herd sire, and wouldn't have used Jumbo if we didn't really rate the heifer that we were going to pair him with. So hopefully it takes from Jumbo. If not, the rest of these bulls are not shabby bulls at all. This is Mowgli. This is lot 5. This is the first bull on the sale. If you look at him, again, a very, very masculine bull. He's a cherry red bull. He's deep, he's long, he's hard muscled, he's wide. He's absolutely outstanding. He weighs 740 kilograms. He was weighed, I think, on Monday. So 740 kilograms already is a nice size, nice frame, nice shaped bull. And that's what Mowgli's all about. Again, back to this Ferrari bull, this underrated Ferrari bull. Ferrari, I told you, featured in lot 1's pedigree, and there he is. He's the sire of this animal, Ferrari. And on the pedigree side, we go back to those herd builders like I spoke about. So we've got 717, which goes back to 494. We've got PM14R in the pedigree, and now all of a sudden we've got a very, very, widely used, but at the same time being kind of, not many people are still using him in the herd because he's kind of phasing himself out, and that's KPO 622. Now, KPO 622 back in Kenya was regarded as the beef bull. So if you've looked at pictures of him, or you Google or you find pictures of KPO 622, you really just see a Boran beef machine that comes through. So he was really rated as one of the top sires that ever came out of Kenya. They still use him, in the old Pejeta herd. We had a visit last year, the year before, I can't remember, for a delegation from old Pejeta. They came, and they're still breeding in families with their breeding projects in their stud herd, and they're still breeding with the KPO 622 herd. So those that want to run around and back up and down to Kenya and the rest of the world to try and find genetics, the genetics are here, and just got to make sure that we apply them properly. So 622, the beef bull, plus PM14R, plus 717, very, very good. And this Alzu BA20 is also, this Alzu BA20 HMC 9920 is the mother of this Alicia cow. Let's just go and make sure. There we are. 9920 is the mother of Alicia. So we have the genetics, and we have the pedigree, and we have all the ingredients to breed, as we can see, a bull. There he is, as well as a cow value of 112. Is not shabby at all, and it's something that I think is a very usable bull for any herd. This is a very functional package. This is lot 6, Jersey. Jersey is making a name for himself. There's a Jersey cow in Rogers's herd, and Rogers, every time I see Rogers or speak to Rogers, he tells me how beautiful the Jersey and her calf is and everything else that's turning out there. So Jersey is, we gave it the name Jersey because of the mother, actually, and because of, her skin pattern and what she looks like, being a little bit of blonde, but majority red. But what's interesting for me here in the Jersey package is actually this cow here. This JRS 0513 Grace. This was a tremendous cow. This was a pure white, snow white cow. Absolutely outstanding cow. Wherever she is and was in the pedigree, you get superior cattle, and she really bred, she did the job. She did the job in any herd she was. And back in the day in 05, it's a long time ago, maybe the marketing wasn't the same as it is today. So these cattle had fused themselves out, but really these are the building blocks of where we are today. This JRS 0712 was another pure white animal. We sold this animal recently to Colin in Zimbabwe, and she's been flushed all the time. Also a very, very good cow. With JRS 0805, who was at a national sale 1 year. This bull, 0439, is a bull gladiator who happens to be a 786, and the mother is 8334. 8334 we'll talk about when we get to lot 12. But there were two full brothers, 0439 and 0442. And they were both out of 786 and Mutara 8334. But I think the trick with this animal over here happens to be this bull here, Olifant. Boom. So it's not often that we put direct Olifants on an auction. This guys and girls, was the first bull that we sold on our first production auction. We sold him for over 300,000 rand, which was a tremendous figure. Still is a tremendous figure then. We sold him to Tom Breitenbach. He went into Tom's herd. They even sent me a picture of him last year. I don't know if he's still alive, but I took this photo myself when I was still a young up-and-coming photographer, and he weighed just under 1,000 kilograms. I think at the time of taking this photo, he was about 950, 960. An incredible herd sire, and that's him over there. There's Olifant. Voorslag and Olifant. This Olifant cow was a national champion in Kenya, did excellently. And if I look at the genetics then of Olifant plus with Grace, this Olifant cow plus with Grace, I know that in here I've got two matriarchs that have really done a tremendous job. So she's a beautiful cow with a touch of Bont, as I said, but majority red. And her heifer calf here is out of a bull called Kinshasa, 1855 over there, Kinshasa. And Kinshasa is a product of King Shaka and Kelly. The original Kelly, MHB 0424, and King Shaka made this bull Kinshasa. That's why the little play on words and gave him a different name. But that's the only son out of Kelly with King Shaka that we have. I don't even think we've got daughters. And an excellent bull, and that's 1855 Kinshasa. And she's 5.5 months pregnant already to these two bulls. But you must remember that we also multi-sire. So we nominate and we try our best to get this as accurate as possible. But if not, and it turns out to be another bull, I promise you we don't use inferior bulls in our herd. And we will always assist our customers to match up and make sure that we get the parentage verified for you and your future calves. But if I look at the EBVs, nothing wrong with the EBVs, very good. And there's the calf doing the talking as far as the mother is concerned, and something worth flushing. If she's got dam lines like that in her, something definitely worth flushing. Okay, let's move on. Lot 7. Lot 7 is a gorgeous package, absolutely gorgeous package. And I think in this package over here, this heifer calf is doing a lot of the talking. She's been AR'd, as you can see, with Cyclone, with female sexed semen. Too early to tell. She was not confirmed pregnant, but too early to tell. But she has been AR'd, but she's also walking with this bull 1583, which is a bull Rolo. So not confirmed yet as a 3-in-1. As far as the pedigree is concerned, this is her father, Lusaka. So look at this bull, firstly. And there's a bit of a stigma in the Boran breed, which is really not fair, and with not much, there's no warrant to it, about Zambian genetics. It's not a matter of calling countries or being positive or negative. But for some reason, the Zambian genetics seem to be falling a little bit behind the Kenyan. But if I looked at this bull and I told you he was Zambian, or if I told you he was Kenyan, or if I told you he was Chinese, would it make any difference? This is a tremendous herd sire, and that's who he is. And there he is, Lusaka. We bought this bull from a guy who was giving up farming. We bought him on a slaughter stock sale with another bull, Beluga, with a broken hip. And very proud to say that we made the effort, Jaron and I, to run off to that sale in Warmbath, buy him on a slaughter stock auction, bring him back into the herd, and use him and look at how he's produced for us. So there you can see Chulu Boran, Zambian sire, mixed with Kenyan genetics. So if you do have Kenyan and Zambian, or Zambian, I've always liked to try and pair them with Kenyan. I just felt that that's been a good click for me. Other people like to try and keep the countries by origin, but we're not breeding countries, we're breeding cattle. Let's just remember that. So here on the dam side, we've got Rolex. Rolex for us is another herd builder. I think without Rolex, we would have half a Boran herd. Sold Rolex off to Conrad Hollenbach's stud. And, he did a great job for us, and I think he's doing a very good job, I think he's gone now also, but we're doing a good job for Conrad and Stanley. On the dam side, this is a cow Poppy out of a Poppy line, which is a Kenyan line. As you can see there, 3534 and 1082. This combination of 3534 and 1082 has printed stud bulls. So if this combination has printed stud bulls, then the way to understand it is that the females, the daughters, are going to have the potential to also be producing stud bulls as they go along. And you'll see that this comes later on in our pedigree as well, of another animal. But this 3534, if I can just highlight that particular bull, I think his father was 1711, but 3534 out of fresh batch of Kenyan embryos that came to South Africa, which is not so fresh anymore, and we were lucky enough to get the majority of those genetics. I think we had 3 or 4 herd size out of 3534 at one stage operating in the stud, and we certainly sold a few too. So there was a bull Viking that we had, Spartan that we had, Phoenix. Those are 3 that come to mind. Then there's Tank, Strixon, the 2 full brothers. They were all 3534. So there you go. There's already 5 full brothers or half brothers out of 3534 that became herd size in this herd with 1082 Poppy. So there's a bull Punch that's running around as well. I don't know where he is anymore, but Punch, etc. So when they had this P story, they came out of this 1082. Excellent animals. 1735, a good cow, RCP of 374, and a hell of a package in terms of the genetics here. But if I look at the calf, this is the first, not the first offering. We did offer on previous sales, but this is the first for this sale out of this bull Bismarck. There it is, Bismarck. Now, there are 3 heifers. There are 3 daughters from Bismarck on our particular sale, and I think all 3 of them are absolutely outstanding. And if you put the 3 together, you wouldn't be able to tell the difference other than just the skin type of pattern. But they are all beautiful, feminine, long-bodied, nice and wet, nice and wide, nice and deep heifers with really their lives ahead of them. So Bismarck is a bull that we bought at a national sale from McKenna and Jonas Bosiu Boran herd. And you know, the impact that he's going to have in our herd is really the reason why we went after him. And if he can breed like this for us, then we're very, very happy. And whoever's going to buy these progeny from us, and obviously from McKenna in years to come, will be adding, I think, you know, something special into their herd. So that's lot 7, Poppy. Lot 8, if you don't mind, I'm just going to have a glass of a sip of water while we look at this picture. Hang on a sec. Okay. A picture like this, animals like this, I think need to press pause. You know, a good auctioneer also presses pause every now and again on an auction to just catch the breath of the sale and really wake up and realign focus. But if I look at this, if I look at the femininity, the functionality, if I look at the balance, if I look at the stud bull standing next to the mother, you know, this calf at foot, never mind the color, never mind the fact that he's snow white with this lovely black pigment, and her femininity and her face and her head and her neck position and her dewlaps and wrinkles coming through over here. She's just magnificent. He's magnificent. And I think that this is a hell of a picture. Wait till you see them. Just wait till you see them. From a pedigree perspective, this is Tarzan. There he is. We bought him on a national sale as well. There's Tarzan. Tarzan, a very underrated bull, but I think starting to make a name for himself. He's an excellent, excellent bull. Tarzan is the father of Black Star that we sold to Colin in Zimbabwe. He's the sire of a bull Atlas that we sold to Conrad Ollenbach. He's a sire of a bull Preston. I'll show you Preston just now. And his daughters are also superb. There he is. So Tarzan is gone. We don't have him anymore. This picture was taken of him just prior to slaughter. But that's Tarzan, and that's his legacy. And he's really bred beautiful, beautiful animals for us. As far as the dam side is concerned, this heather, sorry about that, this CFH 08238 heather is a PM14R, as you can see, and this is a 494, and this is a 2459, and there again you've got that 3-way cross of PM14R, 494, 2459, and there's the product talking. As I said earlier, those are the building blocks. This heather, CFH 08238, was a snow white animal out of PM14R. He was a red bull, she was snow white. And maybe that's why the genetics are coming out again, that this happens to be a white calf. But I think I think it's mix and match, but maybe that's the reason why it's coming out. There's a heather that's doing a good job in Ridwan Muller's herd, and another good line and a good breeding line and a good family line that we've kept. An RCP of 338/3, I think that speaks volumes in terms of fertility and functionality. And if you look at the calf at foot over there with the future in front of him, and when you see him on the sale, and you just have to see the width between his eyes there and how proportionate the eyes are in the head, you just know straight away with the top line, the depth, the sheet, the muscling, that we've got a future stud bull on our hands. Cow value of 112 is excellent, and it really summarizes the whole picture. As far as the sire of the calf is concerned, 18694 Carlos is a bull who's a large frame bull, a bison son out of Kim DO906. That's the Kim DO906, whose father was BRY943, mother was Kim 45. So direct Kenyan embryo over there with bison. If you can recall bison, some of you, bison is the bull that was made in Kenya. So Buffalo semen, TLM 201 semen, was exported to Kenya. They used that semen, South African Buffalo semen, on Kenyan cows, and then the embryos were brought back into South Africa, and that's how bison was pretty much made. So Carlos is 75% Kenyan genetics, direct Kenyan genetics, with 0201 Buffalo, and that's what makes this package very unique, very special, and certainly something that's going to make a herd very proud one day. Let's continue to lot 8. Lot 8, Roxana. This is a full sister to Ronaldo. Ronaldo is a bull that we sold for R1 million. The first bull that we ever sold for R1 million, which is a massive achievement, and still is. And I think doing a great job for Yolandi and Donnie and the Imanati herd. But this is the full sister. This is the first time we're selling the full sister. Obviously a product of an embryo flush. And there's the father Rolex. And I think a very nice balanced heifer. And if we know how the brother is doing and looked, then it's a no-brainer to add the full sister into the herd. That's how they work. The full sisters breed like the brothers, or will breed like the brothers, and you just double up your consistency and your probabilities. There is a bit of science behind stud breeding. It's not all pot luck, but if you just aim yourself in the right direction, chances are that you're going to hit it, more often than not, as long as you've got a plan. If you don't have a plan, a breeding plan, then really it's just, shotgun breeding, and that's not the approach. Got to have a bit of a plan to understand what you're doing, and this is an important part of it. So Rolex is the sire. We spoke about Rolex earlier with the poppy lot. Roxana, this cow pops up quite a lot in our herds and on our sales. 0907, she's a taller animal, a higher, larger framed cow out of 0401. 0401 is King Shaka, also, he's Ramaphosa, also the father of King Shaka. This is Nitro 717. So again, 2459 and 494 coming through on this pedigree, but really the brother did the talking, the sister's going to do the talking, and a very nice animal. And again, AI'd with Jumbo. She's a little bit further on than Alicia, so chances are maybe she took from Jumbo, and I think that would be a very exciting combination on the assumption she did take from Jumbo. So I think something exciting for whoever's going to eventually get the calf. That's Roxana. As we move on to lot 10, lot 10 is Warrior. In my opinion, he's a tremendous bull. He's another animal in the catalog that I think it's good to press pause on and appreciate what we're actually looking at, and appreciate, what we managed to breed. I think this is a tremendous, tremendous bull, a standout herd sire, and something that can take any herd forward in leaps and bounds in one generation, something that puts the Boran breed on the map. It keeps us relevant. It keeps us competitive as far as other breeds there are concerned, because this is a bull that you could really peg toe-to-toe with anything worldwide. I think he's just outstanding. And when you see him for yourselves on Sundays, on Friday, Saturday, maybe you'll agree with me. His length, his width, his depth, his muscling, his masculinity, the way he walks, guys and girls, really, this is for me an outstanding animal. And what makes me even more proud is that, I'll take a bit of credit, which is not something I often do, but I made him. And that's what makes me more excited, because I made this animal. And I'll tell you why I made this animal and how I made this animal. And we'll talk about the mother. We don't need the millies now. We'll get to the mother in a second, because his mother comes in straight after him, and so does a half sister. So let me tell you why I made and how I made. If you guys know, in our herd, we've got the cow Jasmine, and Jasmine made Jumbo, and Jasmine made Jester and Joker and Jackdo, all the Jasmine cows. And the Jasmines have really done phenomenally well for us. And the genetics of Jasmine is B96615 is Jasmine's mother, and TLM 05543 is Jasmine's father, who happens to be a Biffle son. And again, I told you, Biffle is the semen that was sent into Kenya to make cattle in Kenya and bring them back. But Zebu, this is a bull that they called Zebu, Z-E-B-U. Zebu is, for me, probably the most underrated yet best Biffle son of the lot. It's a bull that Mornay Delaray from Embryo Plus rated very, very highly when we were still more active in the Boran breed, and very underrated bull. But again, remember I said earlier, I think the marketing was a bit different then to what it is now, and that's why Zebu's kind of been forgotten about, but not forgotten about if you know what you're doing. So Zebu and 96615 is Jasmine. That's it. That's Jasmine. We had Belfast. He's gone now. We bought Belfast from Vessel Meyer. Belfast did a nice job in Vessel's herd. And he's a bull that we struggled with. He's a bull that we struggled with Seaman when we eventually got him, but Vessel was kind enough, to help us out. And really we tried our best with Belfast, but Vessel also helped us. So Vessel, I must give him credit, for his willingness to actually share in making this animal, and that was with Belfast. And the mother, Winnie 07134, with 0329, which is a full brother to 0401 Ramaphosa, actually helped us to put this whole package together. But there he is. The full sister of this bull warrior is a bull that we sold to Johannes Kiepers. She's the manager of the Solstice Boran stud a few years ago. She happened to break a record as a highest price heifer in the breed. We sold it for 650,000 Rand, and the underbidder at the time was Ntaba Nyoni. I remember it like yesterday, and his full sister broke a record or set a record, should I say, in the breed for a house price heifer, and this is the full brother from the same flush. So there we are. That's why I'm taking credit and spending a bit of time on this animal, because of that combination of Jasmine and adding to it some exciting additives. So here we have 9675 out of the Zimbabwe story. We added a bit of size and growth. Very nice. This Z9525 is a cow that we called Sarah. We never had the cow, but this was used very heavily in Skalk van Oteren's flushing herd. Z9525 is the mother of a bull that we had. King Cobra is a mother of a female lion called Sarah, who also pops in on many auctions. So this Z9525 was a fantastic flashing lion, flashing cow, and did an excellent job for us. And as I spoke already about the mother, but we'll get there in a second. So guys, if you want to see a bull, I suggest you get to the auction and really appreciate, I think, what that animal has to offer. And this is his mother. And this is his mother. This is his mother. So this is Winnie, 07134. Obviously, she's burnt as we can see it. She's a very, very similar looking animal to her mother, which is there, 96615. Very similar, even goes up at the tail setting, the same as 615 went up at the tail setting. She happens to be burnt because, 96615 being a white cow, but I think a lot of her calves happen to be burnt. And as far as the burnt genetics in South Africa is concerned, a lot of it traces back to 615 or to NDA9. And I think those two animals combined very well and also produced a hell of a lot of the burnt genetics in South Africa. What's nice about this particular package, obviously she's an older cow, but she's functional. She's 6-7 months in calf. And Embryo Plus are very nicely sponsoring a free IVF flush on this particular animal, obviously once she's calved and she's ready to be flushed. And I think that's a nice incentive also from Embryo Plus. And the chances of getting a direct B96615 daughter on an auction, again, I think is almost impossible. I mean, just look at the age gap over here and understand for yourself that these genetics are really, you find them in the generational pedigrees. You don't find a direct 615 anymore. And out of 0329, obviously he's also gone. So what's nice about this pedigree here is that this is also a genetical full sister to that famous cow in Stompy's herd, Zelma, and others. So it's got a half sister to Jasmine, genetical full sister to Zelma, comes with a free IVF flush. You saw what her son looks like. She's produced the highest priced heifer in the breed already. So what more do we look for with regards to a herd matriarch and how they breed and how they do? By looking at a daughter. That's how we do it. So we're looking at a cow, we're looking at a matriarch of the breed, never mind a matriarch of Herwitz farming, a matriarch in the breed out of the matriarch of the breed has been able to produce a record priced heifer, another fantastic, magnificent heifer in this one, an excellent stud bull in Warrior, and there we have a real superstar cow worthy of a place in any flushing program. This is a lovely burnt animal, lovely heifer. Winnie, obviously, we spoke about the mother. There's the father, BO598. BO598 and King Shaka and Eros. These are the real building blocks that we had to start our herd and restart our herd as Herwitz farming. 98 is a bull that was exclusive to our herd and to Boran Genetics, Simon Hodgson's herd. This is a bull that took me 3 years. 3 years of hard slogging, negotiating to get this bull out of Simon. Wasn't so easy. Eventually, I'll never forget, Jaron and I, we took a drive out to Escort to eventually go and see Simon. We made an appointment to go and look at the bull, etc. And we arrived on his farm, 2 novices, not knowing anything, and Simon wasn't even there. So we had to find the bull. And how did we find the bull? Because the bull came to find us. That was the temperament of the bull. That's how amazingly intelligent this animal was, and how friendly. Can jump on his back, ride him, do what you want with him. He just was the most tremendous animal from a temperament point of view. And needless to say, we did a deal with Simon, and we managed to buy the bull out of Simon. So 98 and Winnie is another product of a flashing program. And the reason why I put them together was to actually bring back some Mutara genetics. So we spoke earlier about 8334 when we spoke about, I think, I don't remember, I think it was the Alicia line. I don't remember. But 8334, this cow was a white cow. She was known as the milking cow in Kenya and in her herd, from the Mutara herd. She bred 0442, 0439, which was Gladiator, B0598 out of a different sire, 2997. So this was an incredible cow back in the day, in the Kenyan days. And I think, the old Kenyan breeders will still probably talk about 8334. And then we paired her nicely with this cow, which is also a Mutara cow, 8828, who's the mother of 615. So we try to take, 2 excellent Mutara cows. I think you could add, the mother of the Kelly and Khan factory there also into the Mutara genetics, and see, add the 3 of them and really start to crystallize the Mutara herd within your herd. But ultimately, this is the reason why we decided to pair these animals together, was to try and incorporate the Mutara genetics and produce, something special. You look at the EBVs again, excellent EBVs, nicely balanced across the board, the milk value of 125. And that milk value of 125 correlates beautifully with what I spoke about 8334. So, sometimes we look at these EBVs and we say yes, no, and we look at them skeptically and we say, how's it possible? But sometimes it is possible. And this 8334 was known for milk, and it comes through in the genetics and in the pedigrees. Eastfall Motors is a sponsor. They always sponsor a car at cost to the most expensive animal. So yeah, that's where Eastfall plays their part. This is another 3-in-1, lot 11 out of the Caroline factory. Caroline over there. Caroline, there's Caroline. And who's Caroline's mother? B96615, with a different sire, this time being Chica. The reason why the 615 is paired so nicely with so many different bulls is because she flushed beautifully. And that's why we call her the matriarch of the breed, because she managed to produce with almost any animal that she was paired with. And that's why 615 will go down in the history books as the cow of the Boran breed. And, as Johan van den Nest always says, you can never get enough of a good thing. And that's why I rate this 615 cow so highly, so heavily, and so do a lot of herds. This Caroline cow was a Bont animal, MAR 1104, who we bought out of the same herd as where Jasmine came from, which is Johan Pastoris's Woolsack herd. So Caroline, she's gone also, but she flashed beautifully as well, and she bred beautifully. This particular combination of King Sharka, who we'll talk about when we get to lot 27, the semen lot, because that's the semen lot, and this cow Caroline, this combination produced, a few years ago, we had a battle of the sisters, and the one sister landed up going to Ntaba and Yoni, and the one sister went to Liz Riley. Liz twisted my arm after the sale to buy the heifer. I didn't want to sell it. But this is another sister. This was the 3rd sister. We still have her in the herd. She happens to be red. The other 2 were Bond. That's why they paired up nicely for the sale. And the Caroline that Ntaba and Yoni bought, they resold this year on their production sale in March. And I think they probably doubled the money what they spent on her from us. I think they doubled it with God knows how many embryos to their credit, and they doubled their capital investment. So how's that for a business model out of quality genetics? And that's why quality pays, and that's why it's an investment. These animals are not toys. These animals are investments, and they've got the investment potential. And that's why we always say we've got to look at it like a business. But this whole factory all the way down there really has done wonders in lots of herds. And I saw the sister that Liz bought from us a few weeks ago. I visited Swaziland and saw her, and she looked exactly the same as the day we sold her on the sale. The sire out of this combination is Jackson. So Jackson is the sire of this particular cow. Jackson is a magnificent animal. There he is. sold him to Ridwan Mullah. Ridwan still sends me pictures of him and his progeny. Very impressed with him and how he's turned out. So Jackson's an excellent bull out of Khan and Zelma. So Zelma's mother, we just spoke about it on the last slide, but Zelma's mother goes back to 615, or 615 is the mother of Zelma. So this animal over here is line bred 615 with Khan, with Ruston, with Jackie. So that's line breeding 786, it's line breeding KPO 21, and etc. etc. So excellent pedigree that we see on this cow. And if we look at the calf as well, out of DM1612, DM1612 is Tambuti, who's the father of lot 4, who's also a 615. Then this little heifer over here goes back to 96,615 3 times, and I think we'll have the potential to flush well, breed well, and become a wonderful asset in many herds in years to come as she's still young. And again, it's she's a 3-in-1, and she's 2 months pregnant to 1583, which is Rolo, which is a Rolex son. Lovely animal, functionally efficient, nice framed, and very smart package to add genetically into any herd. This is something interesting. This is something special. Grey Bont. Not every day we find grey Bonts out there. And a nice little calf that's standing next to an excellent little stud bull, potential stud bull, very wide and very strong eye bank already for a youngster. Out of different genetics, something we bought in on a dispersal sale in Bethlehem, actually a few years ago, from this beer Vit. They try to concentrate, I think, on white animals, if I remember correctly. And we were lucky to get this package out of them. But what's nice about this for me, and something really exciting, is that she is certified. So she is certified in calf to cyclone with female sexed semen. We all know that there's a probability of sexed semen working. So if it's 85, 90%, at least we're in the right direction. But at least we know that she's a 3-in-1, she's 2 months pregnant, to cyclone, and maybe something exciting, very exciting to come there. And again, Cyclone's progeny will be limited because, he's gone out into Zimbabwe ultimately. So there's Cyclone and 3-in-1 to this particular package. There's 0442 we spoke about earlier, who happens to be again, a half brother to 98 out of 8334. And there's the full brother, 0439. So this is full brother on full brother, 0442 and 0439. And this cow, 07343, was a very underrated cow, but an excellent cow in the Rankin herd out of King. King is a full brother to Khan on the olden days. King is a full brother to Khan, and this is a fantastic cow. If you look up her embryo calves, etc., I think she flushed beautifully, and I think that's the reason why we bought her. We bought this cow on the dispersal sale. RCP of 399 over 3, very good EBVs, as we can see, and I think an excellent package. And the Cyclone pregnancy, I think, has to be quite exciting. This next one, lot 15A and 15B, are 2 animals that I could really spend the whole webinar talking about, because I think they are incredible animals, and the pictures don't do them justice at all. And this is something I think you'll have to see to believe. So they are Jumbo children. There's Jumbo. Jumbo is the bull that we sold for a record price at the time, and he's now living it up in Zambia. And he really is living it up in Zambia. He gets treated better than most children, I think, get treated. So he's an excellent bull. He had problems, but he's recovered, and he's really breeding, AIing, and we still use him in our herd, as you can see. He's an absolute machine, and I think a lot of people in South Africa will regard Jumbo as probably almost the most perfect bull that they've seen in living flesh. So there is Jumbo, and this is a chance to get a son out of him and a daughter out of him. And as these animals mature, they will eventually look like this. Jumbo didn't look like this when he was this age, I can promise you. So out of all of those young brothers that we had at the time, Jameson was the bull that showed potential first. Jumbo was a late starter, so a little bit late maturing. I know people prefer early maturing, but let's not underestimate that the longevity of the Boran breed goes a long way. And a late maturing bull shows you that there's legs left in this race. So there's nothing wrong with late maturing, but just know what you got and understand what you're dealing with. So I think that he might be the same, and I think that he's going to go exactly following in his father's footsteps. He's a big bull. He weighs already 770 kilograms. Nice size, nice frame, good balance, good depth, good width, and an excellent opportunity for a lot of people. I'll spend some time talking more about the female side in a second, but if you look at his EBVs, 110, etc., and a really herd sire. And by the way, we've used him in our herd already. We've used the bull in our herd, and the calves, I think, will come shortly. Excellent, excellent bull. This is his full sister. So there's the full sister, and this is her calf. The sire of the calf is a walnut again, King Shaka and Wasabi, and this is the mother, the full sister of Google, and this is Gabriella. In my opinion, it's fact. I think this is our best. I think this is our best jumbo daughter that we've produced to date. She's got quality on her. She's got incredible aspects, and I think that she's our best. I think phenotypically, she's our best jumbo daughter that we've had the opportunity to breed, and I think she's a smashing she And what's also nice is that she's a very early 3-in-1. She was certified not certified, sorry. She is 3 weeks in calf on Monday, but a vet is not going to certify 3 weeks in calf because, as we all know, anything can happen at such early stages of development. But it's nice to know that she's fertile, that she's taken from the bull, and the bull happens to be Horizon, who's our top Hublot son and our top sire in the herd. So if that sticks and that does mature, I think that this is a golden package to die for, really to die for. The genetic potential here is just insane. The mother of these two, full brother, full sister, is this cow, Gabriella. Gabriella, we bought one of the last lots on the sale of the late Gerrie van der Walt's dispersal sale, which was the same herd that bred Picasso, is the same herd that we got Segera out of. And we bought this cow, who was not a looker, not at all, but those are the breeders, because she had a tremendous stud bull next to her standing as a calf, an excellent calf at foot. So we bought the cow for the calf at foot, and so it turned out to be a good decision, because this Gabriella is printing, still alive, stud bull after stud bull, heifer after heifer, and she's an exceptional breeding cow. And one of the reasons why she's such a good cow is because she happens to be the daughter of this TLM 0110, and TLM 0110 is the mother of TLM 0422. 0422 is the mother of Picasso. So this Gabriella is a half sister to Segera. Going back to this TLM 0110 is a 717494, and the genetic potential of breeding bulls is coming from here. It's just no doubt in my mind it's coming from here, and this click between 717 and this Forester genetics. But if this cow produced Gabriella and this cow produced Segera bred Picasso, and the rest of them Savuti coming later, etc. And the combination of jumbo with those genetics to produce something like this equals a future herd sire for multiple years to come. And the potential with the cow is also there. The only difference is with the cow, you're still going to make her produce the bulls. And that's the potential that she's got. So you've got to pair her correctly, you've got to flush her correctly, and you've got to make her have the stud bull next to her, where in him, you've already got the stud bull. So that's why this is a decision that will have to be made by the buyers. Thank God I don't have to make the decision, but somebody's going to have to, because these two will be auctioned off at the same time in the ring, and you'll have to decide which one you want, the brother or the sister with her calf, because the other one will remain here on the farm unless the underbidder wants it. So that's something we'll still discuss on the auction, but the theory is that one will go and one will stay. So that's a decision, again, thank God I don't have to make. Lot 16 is, I say it in the comments, I really do, arguably the best package on offer. There it is, arguably the best package on offer. Guys, this is ridiculous. This is a machine of a cow. She's absolutely fantastic. She's got those little ployers in the neck that the inspectors like to look for as well. She's feminine, she's balanced, she's wedging, she's exceptional, and she's got a hell of a bull calf at foot with her, a hell of a bull calf. And that's the sire of the bull calf, who happens to be a Picasso son. So there he is, his name is Mustang. Picasso with a cow we called Margot, who's a direct Marula 25. She also bred a bull, who was a house price bull at a national sale when the sale was in Kroonstad. I don't remember his name. Not Kroonstad, sorry, another sale. Rupert, I think his name was. I'm not sure. Anyway, so that was the mother that bred him, and this bull, obviously. When I put this picture on Facebook years ago, I think Facebook and the Boran community, the jaws dropped with this particular animal. Hell of a bull, and this is a chance to get I think a son of his who's got all the potential in the world. Out of a phenomenal cow. There's Viking. We spoke about Viking earlier. So it's a 3-in-1, as you can see. Viking is a 3534. We spoke about 3534 and the impact that he's had in our herd and in the breed. Out of 2748, 2748 is also the mother of Eros, which is why Viking bred so nicely for us. And he's also the father of Savuti, who will come later on in lot 40. We'll talk about it. So that genetical pedigree of Viking really, bred magnificently and really did well for us. We've sold lots of progeny out of Viking, and I think notably to date, we sold the son of his Sutton on the first collaboration auction for 1.2 million rand, and it's all that Viking that did the talking and did the job. So Viking is an excellent bull. The mother side here, Sunshine. Sunshine, this cow in NO822 I don't know if she's still alive, at Dylan and Rowan. They bought her from us. This BO416 is the original Sunshine, and this original Sunshine is a full sister to Shakira. So this 0416 and Shakira, BA0530, are full sisters. This time she's paired with Terrible Terry, 0238, which is also 2738, son. 27, so let's just write that in there, 2738. Okay, now 2738 plus 2748, that cow with that sire made Eros. So in this little package, we've also got the combination that made Eros, who was a fantastic sire in our herd, with this Amarula bull, who did very well in Johan Pastorius's herd. I think he went on into Stompy's herd also, and then I think Hotspot's herd, and then I think they sold him off. But Amarula 25 son. So nice genetics coming through, excellent balance, and interestingly here, this pedigree is unrelated to all those common lines. So unrelated to 2459, to 786, to 494, to PM14R, the Zambian, etc. The fertility that's coming through here, I mean, herself is 395/3. The mother is 362/10. There's the 10 calves, 362/10. This Sunshine, 378/9. Etc., etc., and she's a 3-in-1 with this stud bull standing next to her. I mean, it's end of story. It's a stud bull. There's a cow value of 122, and that's why I say with full conviction that this is probably, arguably, the package of the auction as far as I'm concerned. This is just going to breed and flush superstar after superstar after superstar with a son out of this Picasso son. So a grandson of Picasso is this chap. So yeah, guys, I get passionate and I get excited, but the truth of it is we have to continue. But these cattle are really phenomenal. This is Courtney. Courtney is a jumbo daughter. She's excellent. Picture doesn't do her justice at all, and the bull calf is a smashing bull calf. So let's just talk about it. If I look at this animal and I look at her top line, etc., what I also look at in the photo is the muzzle. And I think the muzzle is something that's being underrated, as far as the females are concerned, and the bulls. But a good muzzle goes a long way. This is the factory. This is the intake. This is the grass converter. This is a sign of what's to come. And when they've got a decent muzzle on them, a nice wide muzzle, it really sets up the rest of the body. So something I think to look at when we look at cattle. Okay, Courtney, yes, she's a jumbo daughter. So I had to select. And we spoke in the beginning about the different sires that we've got. And I could have made a whole auction of jumbo progeny. That's how good jumbo breeds, male and female. And every time we do inspection, Christopher comes and we just pick them out and we don't look at papers. Obviously, this would be there forever. And you just look at them. And then he says, is that a jumbo? Is that a jumbo? And the answer is yes. So we look at the genetics and it's a jumbo. They really do. They stand out amongst their peers. And that's because of what jumbo is and how he's bred for us. So this is an opportunity to get a magnificent jumbo daughter. She's also a polled animal. Not many polled animals in our herd, but she's one of them. And on the dam side, out of DO902, who's a polled cow. 3534 again, we spoke about that bull with regards to Viking. So that's the bull breeding bull. And this is a very rare Kenyan line out of the Kukuzi herd, J5C. So the genetic diversity within our herd is something we've concentrated on, we're very proud of. And that's why I think that our herd has become a hunting ground for other herds to try and acquire something genetically to bring into their herd. And this again is an example. So here you've got the super sire jumbo with another super sire 3534 out of something that's rare out of Kenya. I mean, if you look at this, this is how the Kenyans do it. The father, it says they're purebred, and the mother is foundation. So this is as raw Boran as you're going to find, and that's this Kakuzi herd. Very good. The RCP on this 344/2, and the calf at foot is out of this bull Walnut. We've spoken about Walnut before. There's a few calves on the sale out of Walnut. Walnut is the King Shaka son out of Wasabi, which is 3094, and that cow Z7F108. That's Walnut, and an excellent bull. And the guys from the Cape who came through last year to look at some animals, and we went for a little bit of a tour, and they saw Walnut working in one of the herds, and they wanted to know when's Walnut coming on an auction, because he's an impressive bull to look at and really an excellent sire. And now he's breeding, he's even better. This little calf, we called him King for a very good reason, because he's outstanding. This is a matchbox. He is world class, and if he looks like this now, I can only imagine in 3 years, 4 years from now what he's really going to look like. And probably a bull that if he ever did come on sale is something that I would like to actually buy back, because I think he's excellent. And I really think the world of this particular lot. Cow value 131, excellent EBVs, world class little super sire out of a good bull, good genetics, jumbo daughter. What more can I say? It's something really, really special. This lot 18 is another one that you need to catch your breath and look at and admire and actually be impressed by. But if you look at this calf, I mean, guys, you don't have to be in the Boran breed, and you don't have to be in cattle to actually appreciate that this is a good looking animal. This heifer is world class. And I say it in the remarks, and I think, I'm going to stand by it. As far as our Bismarck daughters are concerned, Bismarck progeny are concerned, okay, clearly this is a Bismarck heifer. This is our best. This is really in a league, a world of her own. When we did the interview with Tinus, he looked at this animal and he said, this is amazing. When Rogers came to visit the other day and he looked at the herd and he looked at this animal and couldn't look away from this animal, and she really is something special and going to grow out to be one of those magnificent matriarchs and cows one day. But this is a magnificent, magnificent heifer calf. The sire of the cow, sire of this Jackie, is this bull Lexus. Lexus we sold on our auction last year. We sold him to Troy Gaylor in Australia, and he actually passed away, Lexus. So Lexus is no more, but this is Lexus, a bigger framed bull out of the 717 family line over there, as you can see, through Seiko. Seiko's at Henk Buerter's herd. He's no more either, but he did a good job for Henk and for us. But the secret to, I've said it then and I'll say it now and forever, the secret to Lexus was, never mind the sire line, was this Lolo family. This dam line, B07177, we'll talk about her later as well. But this 07177 we bought out of the Johannes Norval dispersal sale. When we bought her, she was, it's not a matter of price, but I think we managed to snatch up 5 daughters of hers at the same sale at the same time. And this animal she's magnificent. Comes out of that Kenyan bull again, 622, Kim 19, something different on the dam side. And if it wasn't for this family, the cows that breed the bulls, I don't think Lexus ever would have been obviously created. So beautiful, beautiful animal, this Lolo, managed to breed a top herd sire. On the dam side, this Jackie cow, Jackie, obviously the famous name out of Quentin de Bruyn's first drop herd. Goliath, NDA9, who was a born bull, 303 and 717. 303, sorry, is the mother of 717. So 717 is 494 and 303. So that means that this animal here is line bred to 303 there and there. Line bred 303, which is, a very good family, a very good cow line, because she managed to breed lots of bulls. So that's Goliath. Goliath was a red bull. And going back to this Jackie line 0410, which was a direct 786. So that's one of the original Jackies that came into the country, not into the country, but born. So 0510, 0536, 0508, those are the 3 that came out of Quentin's herd, but there were also some that went to Willem Jansson's Bundu herd also. But 786 was the sire, 2228 was the dam, and that's what the Jackie line ultimately is. This MHB 0922 actually is in our herd. So 07177 and 0922, 2 excellent cows, excellent cows. And that's why you get to see what you see over here in terms of the actual pedigree coming together. And this is why I say it, like in every one of Tinus's interviews, I understand this. I understand the genetics. I understand the pedigrees. I enjoy it. And when it clicks together, something like this, then I really, take a second to admire the creation. But again, I really think that that the Bismarck heifer calf there, the best Bismarck heifer calf in the herd. And I think that that's a magnificent animal, future herd matriarch, and something really special. All right, let's move on. Another heifer. This is a Zodiac daughter. This is also out of the Ella family. Zodiac is a bull. There he is, that we bought from Stompy a few years ago in one of his sales. It was one of the last bulls on the sale. We liked him for good reason. If you look at him, he's a tank of a bull, and doing a good job, still in the herd and still breeding for us. And if he can breed like this, then, it was a good investment to buy him at the time. And he's excellent. And there's a reason why he's excellent. And that's because he goes back to this Zelma cow. So there he is. There she is, Zelma. That again, that BO401 and 96615 combination. Zelma, excellent in Stompy's herd, excellent in the breed, bred multiple stud sires, etc. with Ruston. Ruston was a Marula 25. This Hot 1420 is a cow that we have in our herd. We bought her from Stompy at a national sale. Was a half-price cow 1 year at a national sale. She's also the mother that bred the bull Zastron. Zastron we sold this year on the collaboration auction to Paul DeBet's Green Valley Boran herd out of a different sire, out of Mufasa. So it was Mufasa, the bull Stompy just sold now on the national sale. It was also a Madot son, actually, with this Zelma created Zastron. So this Zodiac was a half-brother to Zastron, and an excellent bull. And look how he breeds. She's world-class, guys. This is a phenomenal heifer. Wait till you see her. Her depth, her wedge, her length, her balance, her femininity, her pigment, everything's right. Every single thing is right about this animal, and that's why she gets a tick. She's a gorgeous heifer, and she's going to be a stunning cow one day. And if you look at the EBVs talking again, 111 cow value. She was AI'd with the bull 16235, who is a bull we call Diego. Diego is a tank son, very good bull, sold progeny from him as well. He breeds them white, he breeds them true to true. This 18554 is Mustang again. 19521 is a Tequila son. WPB 1805 is an RJ son. We call him Avatar. So excellent sires used on our heifers last year, and she was AI. Beautiful animal, beautiful heifer, beautiful cow, good genetics, beautiful heifer. Sorry, and wait till you see her. Lot 20, halfway through the sale. I think I should try and speed up a little bit because we're only halfway through. Omega, what a bull. What a bull, what a herd sire, what a proven herd sire, a tank, a block of a bull. He weighs 840 kilograms. He's a large framed bull. He walks, he's balanced, he carries himself. He's phenomenally masculine here in front with his neck. He's just a machine. He's just an enigma. How this bull was created is actually a miracle. And this is what surprises you sometimes. So this is by far the best Samburu son that we've had in our herd, by absolute far. And I think that he's going to be a super sire for somebody else as well. And that's the reason why, we're putting him on the sale as a proven herd sire. There's Samburu. That's the same sire. That's the same bull. There's a famous picture of him standing in the water, which went viral at one stage. But he's a Kajivu son out of Marula 25 with 0401, which is that Ramaphosa bull. And on the dam side, the white swan herself, Odette, 0505. So there were two full sisters. There were actually only three animals that came out of the flush with 1698. The two Odettes, 0505, she was polled, and 0517 was horned. Both of them, came out of Jacques Moll's herd through Quentin de Bruyn's herd, and we landed up buying both of them. This one, I think we bought on a showcase auction or a national sale, I'm not sure. And 0517, we bought on one of Quentin's production sales out of 3094. Lovely genetics, outcross opportunity, excellent EBVs, as we see over there. Growth, carcass, production, cow value, milk, calf growth, fertility. What more do you want out of a herd sire? And when he looks like that, unbelievable. And when you see him and you see that head that's come out of a polled cow, you kind of ask yourself, what is this business? How do you predict what's going to happen when you get this out of a polled animal? So an enigma, as I said, and people have asked me, where does he get this like burnt grizzle color from? I've got absolutely no idea, because father was white gray, there he is. Mother was snow white, and that's why you sit with something magnificent like this. So Omega is an out and out herd sire, and will be sad when he's gone, but he's got a job to do somewhere else now. This is a very nice cow, Henriette. Henriette is named after Henriette Olivier, who used to work for us and still works for us for many years out of Viper. She was AR'd, as you can see. She was AR'd with Cyclone and walking with Horizon. This is Viper, CFH 14257 out of King Cobra, who I spoke about earlier, King Cobra, PM14R out of the Z9525, who happens to be in Warriors pedigree. Remember I told you about Warriors pedigree. 0208 is a full brother to Caesar, which is 2459. So here we have PM14R and 2459 with Napoleon. Napoleon is a 717. 717 is a 494. So again, you've got that three-way cross that's come through quite nicely. What's nice for me, just to share with you, is this particular bull, Viper. A few years ago, when we had all the Boran inspectors come to our farm to do a Bosperat for a few days, the beginning of the year, you know, Christopher pulled out a few bulls to talk about. They couldn't talk about all of them. But out of all of the bulls that Christopher did pick out for them to talk about as inspectors, this was the bull that they all chose as their favorite bull on the particular day and of that session. So Viper, he's no more. But, you know, very nice, balanced, well put together bull. And that's why he's bred a lovely daughter over here. And as far as the heifer calf is concerned, the heifer calf is out of a bull, Scorpio, there, 18517, who's also a King Sharka son in the herd. RCP 375/2, nice EBVs, and a very nice cow and calf unit to add to anybody's herd. We'll talk about King Sharka in a second when we get there. These two heifers, this is lot 22, A and B. There's B, there's A, and this is also going to be a battle of the sisters and her choice. So whoever, again, thank God I don't have to make this choice, but whoever does is going to have a hard one on top of them, unless, you know, you do a Paul the Vet and just decide to take both at the same time. So this Jasmine, and there's a question from Hugo van Reenen, Tinus, which we can try and address just now. Or Hugo at least put up his hand. I don't know if it's still valid or not, but he did put up his hand. Okay, these two heifers, guys, are full sisters. Full sisters. Let me just talk about it on this pedigree. It doesn't really make a difference. This is out of the Jasmine family. So there's Khan, there's Jasmine, who we spoke about so well and so much. So this is WG0902. The other Jasmine, whose Jumbo's mother is Hot 1024. They were just born in different herds. But the combination there of Zebu, TLMO 543, 96615, that made Jasmine, that is Jasmine. So this Jasmine with Khan equals, you know, the parents that made WZ1546. This 1546 is also the full sister to bull in our herd, Jasper, who we'll get to later on when we talk about Ella. There's a bond heifer coming out, Ella. You'll see what I'm talking about. But this cow, WZ1546, if you've seen the video, you've seen what she looks like. You'll see her on Friday, Saturday at the sale. She'll be standing with her two daughters. She'll go into the ring with her two daughters, and you'll appreciate the future when you see the mother. And I don't think that's been done before that I can remember on an auction where, you know, the daughters come in, the mother stands next to them, the mother comes into the ring with them and actually showcases the genetic potential and the future of what you're getting, highlighted by the fact that these are also Picasso daughters. So these are the only two Picasso daughters, the only two Picasso progeny that we've got on the offer on the sale. And I think they speak volumes. These are animals that you know, are going to be flashed. They're going to be matriarchs. They're going to be superstars. They're going to be herd builders. And I think that these are two incredible heifers, incredible future assets. And I can't speak enough. This cow has, I mean, her RCP there is 413/6, but that doesn't tell the story because her embryo calves are not here. So I think she's also 7 months pregnant at the moment, and she's flashed beautifully. She's bred beautifully. And obviously these are a result of an embryo flashing program who I decided to pair together. So these are two standouts. And again, whoever makes their choice up as to which one they want to keep and which one they want to leave is a choice I'm happy to say I don't have to make. Let's just pause for a second and ask Hugo, do you have a question, Hugo?
Hi, Simeon. Can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Excellent, man. Just projecting into the future. Of course, the moment we see a Picasso daughter, we're very impressed, and it's the stuff of dreams. But projecting into the future, I know this heifer's in calf, but what would your breeding strategy be post her having this calf? What kind of bulls would you like to use on this particular heifer? And just what would your breeding vision be for a heifer like this, a Picasso daughter like this? Thanks for your insights.
Sure. Okay, so it's a difficult question, Christoph, but I mean, we don't have crystal balls, and it's a real trial and error example of really what we're trying to do. But if I just look at how these animals have done. So Jasmine paired very well, or the 615 line paired very well with out of the 0401, B0401, B0329, etc. That made the Zelmas, and that made the Winnies, and that made a few of them. So if I could find a bull that linked back ultimately to B0401 or something like that, or a King Sharker, for example, who's a bull that we have and that we're going to sell semen of, who is an 0401 descendant, that would be something. I know he's proven and he's bred nice bulls. That would be something that I would consider, simply because I think that the key to the future sustainability of these heifers and of this line would link back to what Jasmine's done and how she's done it. The fact that she happens to be already mixed with Khan and is already, a genetical full sister to the Jumbo family, I don't know if I would go back in that direction. It might be a bit too close to home, or at the same time, if it works, it becomes a miracle. It becomes a miracle type of mating. But if I look at also what Picasso's done and how Picasso's, paired and done beautifully, if I look at the Marula 25s that he's paired with, and then I look at 786 here, and 786 and Marula 25, in my opinion, also paired beautifully. And Marula 25 and 0401 paired beautifully, which was a recipe that Mornay de la Rey got right for the Intabagnoni herd. So if I look at this and I really try to find maybe a top son out of the Marula 25 line, Marula 25, FNO 668 or Kajivu, Samburu, Omega, and I'm linking it back into my herd, but you did ask me questions about who I would use in my herd. So that would be one trend of thought. The other trend of thought would be the 0401 looking type to try and pair that all up with the Picasso. I just think that one could really have something outrageous that could come through in years to come.
Yes,
yeah.
Simeon, do you have time for one more question, and then I'll be out of your way?
Yeah, with pleasure.
Thank you so much. So with a Picasso daughter like this, and the one thing that's so attractive about the Boran breed is it's attracting so many new people and new breeders, and we're all very curious, and we're very appreciative of all the knowledge that you guys as established breeders carry. But if you look at the rest of the catalog here and some of the phenomenal bulls that you have on offer, are there some of the bulls that would stand out as a potential good cross for heifers like this?
Yeah, absolutely. I would go to, absolutely. I mean, I think all the bulls in this particular sale are genuine stud bulls. I really do. I think there's a time later on and various other throughout the year that you get the more commercial type bull. But I think that the bulls on this particular sale are stud bulls. So any one of them, I don't want to answer the question by being a telemarketer, but any one of the bulls would be good options. But Warrior, for me, is a standout herd sire. I think he'd pair and click with anything. I think Omega the same as a proven bull, and I think they've both got the genetics and the pedigrees to click with these two Picasso daughters. That Google son is a jumbo son, but I mean his dam line being out of Gabriella and Segura being out of this 0410, which is the same as Gabriella, would really be line breeding these two, Segura and Gabriella, going back to 0410, and really pulling together the 615 you'd be line breeding because of the jumbo, 786 you'd be line breeding, 543 you'd be line breeding. So you'd have an inbred animal with such diversity by using a bull like Google or a good jumbo son that I think sparks would fly. But at the same time, you'd get it wrong. But sometimes you might get it wrong. But if I look at what's going on just in these two animals, also something we didn't talk about is this 9901 bull is a born bull. 9901 is a son of 615. 96,615. So already these two heifers are line bred to 615, which is not a bad thing at all. I like it. And there's a heifer that we spoke about earlier that's going back to 615, I think 3-4 times. Can't go wrong with it. So these are the building blocks to really produce greatness. With bringing this in, with obviously bringing in the whole Jasmine factor with Picasso. These are proper heifers. These are proper heifers with the whole life ahead of them that I think you could mix, match, pair, play, and hit it on an 8 out of 10 basis. These are not going to produce the 1 out of 10. These are two animals that I think are going to produce the 8 out of 10. And I mean consistency. 8 out of 10 excellent progeny, not 1 out of 10 excellent progeny. That's what I mean. I'm not talking about 8 out of 10 on a scale. I'm talking about a retention scale of animals that'll really be superior, and you could end up building up a whole herd just out of the daughters of these animals. And then again, then it brings in future advanced reproduction techniques like embryo flushing with sexed semen. And the world is your oyster today with technology. You can really go bananas. So once you find a click that works, or you've got a gut feel of what's going to work, you got to go for it. But I mean, it takes 2-3 years to see the results. But invariably, when you've got the ingredients to bake the cake, no matter who the chef is, you're not going to mess up the ingredients that much. You can overcook the product for sure, but if the ingredients are there, the taste is also going to be there ultimately. And I think with these two animals and with the herd in general, the ingredients are there. And that's why the consistency of the catalog and the consistency of the cattle is coming through, sale after sale. And it's because the ingredients of the cake is all there. I think the ingredients in the herd is there.
Yeah, well, thanks. I appreciate your perspective. And if that's not a flushing strategy, I don't know what is. Thanks, Simeon. All the best.
Sure. All right, let's continue, guys. Thank you for the question. And if there are others, you're welcome to raise them. We'll hold them till the end with pleasure. Okay, lot 23 A and B. This is a very nice little package. She's a smaller frame cow with a hell of a calf at foot. Obviously, he's at weaning stage. That's why it's an A and a B of his age. She's a 3-in-1. And I think this again comes back to our poppy line that we spoke about earlier, and very, very nice genetics. These EPs are Embryo Plus. That's the prefix Embryo Plus had when they had their Boran herd. And that's because they were also Boran breeders at one stage. So 0329 is the full brother to 0401. He's also the father of lot 11 Winnie. 0329 was a yellowish bull. That's why this is a yellowish bull also. This MHB 1120 poppy is the same poppy that we saw earlier. I think it's lot 7. I'm not sure, but 3534 we spoke about. And there's also 3534. So this animal is line bred to 3534 with BIY 943. Also, diverse Kenyan genetics. And again, 1023. So this is a pedigree, a pure pedigree over there of Kenyan royalty, Kenyan excellent genetics, proven genetics in this 1017, which was the father of 0329, 0328, 0401, and a whole host of cows that came with it. Fat Mama or Fat Mama, I think, was 0311. Books, one of the late books, sold a progeny on the national sale this year out of that damn line also, out of this 2773. So this is Kenyan genetics at their finest, and a fantastic animal, and this animal in particular, very nice animal. And the calf at foot is out of this bull Preston. There he is, an absolute tank of a bull, machine of a bull. This photo was taken by one of our herdmen when they were checking the herd. He took this photo on one of his regular counts, and I think he took, this is as honest as it is. There's no nonsense in this photo. It's on the back of a horse. He took the photo. He's with his herd. And if you look at the brute strength gorilla of a bull that this chap is, you kind of appreciate what the calf has the potential to grow out into being. And we spoke about it earlier when we spoke about lot 8 being a Tarzan daughter. Preston is a Tarzan son. So this makes Preston over here a half brother to Black Star, Atlas, etc., that heather cow. Now, the reason why this is such a bull is because here we have Poppy again. Sorry about that, but here we have Poppy again. So this is Poppy, and there is Poppy. So these two Poppies over here is the reason, is line bred, and that's why we start to see, the consistency of the product coming out, and certainly the future potential in the bull calf. When you see this bull calf at the sale, you'll agree with me is exceptionally wide between the two eyes. Now, a vet once told me years ago, and he's 100% right, you can't breed this gap between the eyes. I mean, you can't, sorry, not breed it, you do breed it. You can't grow it throughout life. Well, if they've got the width between the eyes, they've got the width between the eyes, they've got the character already. This width between the eyes obviously matures and gets a little bit wider. But if it's a narrow little face, a coffin face type of thing, then it kind of stays flat-sided for the rest of its life. When it's got the width, you start to see the width coming through the back as well. So that whole channel between the eyes runs through the spine of the animal all the way through, and you kind of see the width of what's going to happen. So the width in this animal coming through there, the width of the sire, all starts to make sense. The bull breeding ability of this Poppy story with Rolex is just, you know, exceptional on the genetic side, and a 3-in-1. And she is in calf. She's 7 months in calf. So a highly functional package as well. 7 months in calf, and the calf at foot is, you know, 9 months or just over 9 months. Shows fertility again, which is lovely to see. This is an exceptional heifer. Make no mistake. This is a Netstar daughter, lot 24. She's world class, absolutely world class. Netstar over there is a bull who's got his own name and legacy. He's in Zambia now. We didn't sell. Liz Riley sold on the Friends sale in May. You know, a daughter out of Netstar for 800,000 Rand, an excellent heifer. She was out of the Iris family. We'll talk about Iris later on. And the dam line here is Roxana Envoy 907. Envoy 907 is the mother of Ronaldo, is the mother of lot 9 on the sale. And there you go. So Roxana herself has got 2 stunning heifers on the auction, which shows you, and she's got an excellent bull in Ronaldo, that this is a superior breeding cow. And she's certainly clicking and doing the job nicely. This is also a product of our mating that I decided to do, because Ronaldo is a product of Rolex and Roxana. So that's Ronaldo, and that's the Roxana lot 9. On this occasion, I decided, which kind of, you know, strengthens the point that Hugo asked earlier, how would you click and how would you pair? This strengthens the point of using a top Rolex son being Netstar, in my opinion. There he is, a hell of a bull. Thick set, stocky bull. He's doing all the talking in his progeny and how he looked. So I decided to use a top Rolex son, which incorporated 9901, which incorporates 96615, who we spoke about, 96615, who we know paired very well with Ramaphosa 0401, who made Zelma. And so I start to build the cake. And start to build the picture. So in here we have the genetics of that Zelma family and the rest of them. Obviously Zelma's the famous one, but it's Winnie is the same. Winnie on the sale lot 11 is the same genetics. With Ronaldo, with the ingredients that made Ronaldo a super sire, out of it already a super sire in Netstar, and we've got a product that looks like this. So she's an excellent heifer. I'm sure you've seen the video of her. If you haven't, I'm happy to share and send again, by all means. But this is a superb heifer, and you know, I don't say she's going to go for 800,000 Rand like her half sister did, but she's really she's a smashing heifer, and exciting for us because this is the first adult heifer that we're selling out of Netstar. Liz kind of beat us to it on the Friend sale, but she really put that Netstar on the Friend sale with a very heavy heart, and I know why she did it, as a real tribute to you know, the friendship that we have for many years. She didn't want to sell that animal. So who knows, maybe Liz will buy this one back to just get back a Netstar. I don't know. But she's a fantastic, phenomenal animal. Guys, this is a bull Joskin, who unfortunately we had to withdraw. We've withdrawn him today. He's picked up a slight injury. He's limping around. Can send you videos to show you that he's just limping on the front leg. So, you know, to just avoid disappointment on the day of the sale, we've withdrawn him. But, you know, maybe for a good reason. We've used him in the herd. We will continue to use him in the herd when he's obviously fit and ready, and who knows, maybe he'll be on offer at a later time. But this is a hell of a bull, but no need to talk about him for now because he's not going to be on the sale. But what is important to talk about him is the fact that he happens to be a King Shaka son. Lot 27 is King Shaka the seaman, and this is another example of why I really rate King Shaka so highly, and for very good reason. Christopher will remember King Shaka very well. He rated King Shaka very highly. in our herd when we bought him. Elof Miller, who was a past president and inspector, rated King Sharka very highly as well. So the King Sharka progeny, boy and girl, have been excellent animals and really come through the pedigree. He's also the father of Walnut, showing you how the Walnut is breeding, etc., etc. And on the dam side here, we have Jasmine also. But that's just the genetics. So in the herd, in the catalog, on the offering, we've got King Sharka, we've got Jasmines, we've got Khans, and this is what they have the potential to do. So allowing me to talk about him for a second, thank you. But very sad that you won't be able to see him for yourselves. This is Lolo. I spoke about Lolo earlier when I spoke about Lexus, but this is Lolo, the Lolo family, and she's a King Sharka daughter, direct King Sharka daughter. And this is how he does it, guys. He breeds functional, efficient animals. He breeds them true to type. He breeds them, and they then later on go on and breed themselves. And there you have the answer. And this is what you want in cows. You want cows, you want heifers, you want females. That's 3 words to describe the same thing. You want the factories that are going to breed you this. That's the aim. That's the name of the game. That's ultimately where we want to get to as stud breeders. We don't just want a cow to produce a calf with testicles that's going to land up one day in a feedlot. The majority of them do that. But every now and again, when you get a cow with the potential to breed a calf like this, then you've got to take them seriously. And the reason why we've got to take her seriously, let's undress it and see. So we have King Sharka, who we spoke about a few times already. We've got this Lolo over there, 07177, who is the mother of Lexus. We've got Jasmine, who is Jameson. And we've got this 2773, Z7F2773, who's the mother of, as we said, 0401, 0329, 0328, etc., etc. This cow, 18358, we sold on one of our auctions previously. We sold her to Liz Riley, an outstanding animal who's breeding very nicely. The animal's still here, can't get across the borders because the borders are still closed, but surely one of the standout cows in Liz's herd with an RCP of 375 as well. So this King Sharka daughter with the genetics of Jasmine and Lolo is the reason why we see what the calf is. So we always say it, we're going to remind ourselves, it's the cow lines that breed the bulls. It's the cow lines that breed the bulls. Jasmine, a proven bull breeder. Lolo, a proven bull breeder. 2773, a proven bull breeder. And so we continue to get something like this. So when we add Casanova, that's a different picture of him from the other side. When we add Casanova, the full brother to Cyclone, with Picasso, with Cremora, who's bred bulls, three full brothers and more, because we've obviously got a few Cremoras in our herd as well out of different sires. And that's coming back to 74P. 74P is the mother of 159U. 159U with Buster, there's Buster, TLM04507, bred all those brothers, Kojak, Kirkwater, Magnum, Kaiser, Top Gasket, etc., etc. I don't think there's maybe others as well. But here we have in the potential in this calf, we've got Lolo, we've got Jasmine, we've got Cremora, we've got Segura. I mean, what more do you want in terms of cow lines that are going to breed bulls? And there's the bull. So when I imagine this chap growing up one day and being able to sire, daughters of his own, I just think the world of what he's going to have to offer. And that's why I wrote it over here. I say the next Picasso. I mean, Picasso's fantastic. He's breeding, we know it. But, his time is now, but who's the future? So the future will be guys like this with the genetic makeup that reads like a book, that's going to be able to produce the daughters, produce the sons, produce the next generation of Boran that's going to take us worldwide, because, our cattle get exported all over the show. That's going to really be the herd builders of the future. So I think, tremendously. And again, the starting block of all of this happens to be King Sharka, who is the father of the cow. Without the cows, just look at this magnificent wedge, because that's meant to be straighter. Just look at this magnificent wedge that's coming through on this animal. And there's the calf foot. All right, here's King Sharka. Spoke about King Shaka. There's the father, Amaposa 0401. King Shaka is a household name in our herd. He's done excellently. He's bred brilliantly. He's bred cows. He's bred sons. We sold semen of his last year for a lot of money, and who knows what will happen this year. But it's an opportunity to really add to the semen bank. If you are going to flush and you are going to do a lot with in vitro, 12 straws goes a hell of a long way. And a proven sire like this with the bone structure is something that's really to be taken seriously. And while we're talking about him, let me just run you back to what a son of his looks like, and just appreciate how wonderful this actual sire was in our herd and in the breed. So that's him, 12 straws of semen of King Shaka. And you see he plays a big role in our herd all over the show. This is Kinky. Kinky, cute name, Kinky. The Kinky family is a Kinky at Rogers' herd. Rogers also tells me all the time that his Kinky is superb, loves his Kinky. Probably he's, in his opinion, one of his top cows in the herd. And that's coming out of this Kinky family, who also happens to be, you know, this is a granddaughter of King Shaka with 98. The two building blocks of our herd, this bull B12155, that's him. That's 12155. Look at the depth of this animal. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Christopher took this photo. I think when Christopher and Elof once came to our farm, I think Christopher just flipped his camera around and flipped his neck around, got whiplash at the same time, and took this photo in the veld. And you know, this is an old cell phone picture that what we used of this bull. So this is a bull 12155 that we shared with Vessel. We bought him in partnership with Vessel on a Simon Hodgson Boran genetic sale one year. 98 with 0783 King Shaka with the, you know, Kenyan genetics of BRY 943, something rare, something different, with a full-on Kenyan pedigree of proven animals, but at the same time with something rare that's coming through, equals a lovely little functional animal in Kinky. And her calf, her heifer calf at foot, is out of 17563. 17563's Hunter is a Bont bull, and he's a Hublot son. So this is also a 3-in-1. This is a Bont bull Hunter that made the calf, obviously, combined with Kinky, combined with 98 and King Shaka with Hunter, is all the building blocks and ingredients that we've had in our herd at Herwitz Farming. This is Horizon daughter, Iris. We spoke about Iris when we spoke about Liz's daughter that we sold on the friend sale. So Iris, there she is. This is a Horizon daughter. So this is Horizon. This is the top herd sire in our herd at the moment. This is also the bull that's running with the auction females, the majority of the auction females. So if there are any early 3-in-1s to be made and surprise bonuses on your farms one day, this is the chap that's responsible for them. That's Horizon. As I say, the #1 sire in the herd, who comes out of Hublot, who was the greatest herd sire that I think we've ever had, with Biffle as well. So Biffle, Hublot Biffle, and that's Marula 25 ultimately. Lion-bred Biffle, that's lion-bred Biffle out of Bison. Remember I spoke about Bison, the animal that went into Kenya to flush embryos in Kenya? There it is. There's his mother, 1058 with Biffle, lion-bred Biffle with Hublot, with 3534, that tremendous herd sire that I spoke about, who made Iris, and the RCP is good of 388 days. So this Iris family clicked with Netstart to make the Iris that we sold, or Liz sold on the May auction, out of Horizon with the heifer calf by Casanova. So there is an A and B, yeah, there A and B. So this is Casanova again. There he is. So here we have now adding again the Casanova factor, which is, you know, Cyclone and Chagall. We've got Segura, we've got 74P, and we've got lion-bred Biffle, we've got Iris, who's produced very well out of 3534, and we've got a beautiful, beautiful heifer calf, very functional package that adds a hell of a lot of value. And I think that this bull will go down in our herd as, you know, as the legacy builder. He's a bull we're never going to sell. So therefore, he's a bull that's never going to have the opportunity to be marketed, to be traded, to be sold for a figure, yada, 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 and everything that goes with the marketing through the selling side. But if you see this bull, appreciate, witness this bull, this has got to be one of the herd sires I think the Boran breed has experienced. This is a direct Hublot son, lot 30, Panar. There he is, Hublot, Panar. So this is a half brother to Horizon. excellent bull, more compact, shorter bull, but stocky, thick-set bull. Lot 30, let me see, he weighs 730 kilograms. When you look at him, I don't think you'll think he weighs 730 kilograms, but that's what width does. That's what stockiness does. That's what low to the ground does. This is a little bullfighter, last little scrum half that you want in your herd. So this is him, but make no mistake, he's a hell of a bull. So Pennar is his name, out of Hublot. There's Hublot, the grandfather of our herd. And again, as I say and have said, without Hublot, I don't think we would have a Boran herd in South Africa. Herwitz farming wouldn't, and the impact that he has had and will continue to have. And we still AR with him, we still flush with him. His daughters have been record breakers, his sons have been record breakers. Phenomenal animals. They do not fall apart no matter where they go. They hold condition. They are just world class. So anything out of Hublot, guys, has to be taken like very, very, very seriously. I'm telling you, Hublot, I can't talk enough about Hublot. If I look at the mother side here, Pandora, CR7109, this cow also a buffel out of 177S, a Zambian animal, nice combination of Zambian and Kenyan. But Pandora has bred stud bull after stud bull. If I can just list them, she bred Pegasus at Mostine. She bred Poncho at Mostine. She's bred Pumba, who's at us. She's now bred Pennar at that's going to obviously be sold to somebody, and etc. etc. So this Pandora cow has really been an excellent bull breeding cow. She's not a fantastic looking cow when you look at her, but it's not what they look like, it's how they breed like is what's really the trick. But Pandora, I can't talk enough about her because she's an underrated matriarch in the herd. And how I decided to put this combination together was when it was time to flush her, I simply said to myself, bit of potluck answering Hugo's question, I said, if we've got a cow that can breed, a proven cow that can breed proven herd sires, let's give her to our best bull and let's see what happens. Let's see the click. And that's what happened. So I gave her to our best bull. I gave her to a proven bull breeder and made something happen, and proud to say that this is the result. And I think he's excellent and a great bull. This is Ella lot 31. Bear with us, guys. We're getting there. I think we're almost there. This is lot 31, Ella out of Jasper. Jasper I spoke about earlier when we spoke about the two sisters as lot 22. There's their mother, WG0902 with Khan. So it's the different Jasmine, 09 at WG0902. But Jasper and the mother of the sisters is she's WZ 1546. This is 49, full brother, full sister, and that's him. So when you see, if you come to the auction and you see the sister, WZ 1546 standing with the two daughters, lot 22, page back to lot 31 and see the bull, see what he looks like. I mean, he's still in the herd and we're using this chap. And you see the genetic, amazement of what the cow looks like, what the brother looks like. And that, kind of becomes a no-brainer as to where you're going to from a breeding plan. Because if the consistency in the product of the sire matched with the consistency in the sister, brother to sister, equals a result like this and equals a result like those two heifers in lot 22, then you've got the cake and you're baking it beautifully. So this is a nice genetic pedigree as well that we put together here with Khan and Jasmine we spoke about. But this is a nice combination of 615 and NDA9, which was the two Bont animals responsible for the majority of Bont in South Africa. So if you're going to breed Bont and you want to concentrate or you want to do something with Bont, me, I don't breed color, I breed cattle, but people do like the Bont and they've certainly got a place. Then those are the two ingredients to create a legacy for Bont genetics. This Ella cow is this FN11219, is Abdul, our herd manager, his favorite cow in the herd. She's gone now because she never lost condition and always gave a calf, loved her. With graphics, it was a super sire that we had in the olden days. But, a very nice animal. And again, the photo doesn't do justice. When you see her, you'll appreciate that she's a magnificent animal, also with very good EBVs as they come along. Beautiful, beautiful heifer. This is another amazing animal, amazing package, amazing calf. This is a Bismarck daughter as well out of Potpourri. Potpourri, I'll talk about in a second. But if you just look at what we're looking at and you look at the cow, you look at the calf, you look at the femininity, you look at the functionality that's coming through here, I think that this is, another standout lot. The eye, we talk about I don't know why I can't get this right. Sorry. We talk about the eye. So we had a, Hendy Matthews. Hendy's well known to the breed. He used to work for us. He was a technical advisor for the breed. He used to talk to me about the oval eye, an oval eye. He was very big on his oval eye. But when I look at an oval eye, I see what he's talking about, and something I learned to appreciate from Hendy. And this animal certainly got it. So Potpourri is another Horizon daughter. So there's 2 direct Horizons on the auction. Okay, we've got a hand up. We'll answer it in a second. So another Horizon daughter in Potpourri, also with King Shaka 0783, and this cow TLM 0232 was a very deep-bodied cow that we bought years ago from Elof Miller out of 2738 and 4202 is a full sister, I think, to Knopkiri. So we can go back and look at Knopkiri's pedigree. It is actually somewhere in the catalog. I think it's lot 4. I'm not sure. But Knopkiri, so TLM 0232, full sister to Knopkiri with King Shaka, with Hublot, is the cow. With Bismarck is the heifer calf. There it is. Bismarck is the heifer calf. Equals, a very functional, very beautiful, very feminine package that I know genetically has got the punch behind it. And that's why you get a heifer that looks like that. And also very unique coloring with this like almost clouded. We used to breed snakes, Jaron and I, years ago, and almost like a Dumeral boa looking type of skin pattern. Very nice. Very nice to see. Okay, before we move on to the next animal, there was a question. Guys, would you like to ask your question? Just go off mute and ask your question with pleasure. No. Okay, we continue. Maybe it was by mistake. Omelette, another beautiful cow, really stunning cow. There is a hand, okay? Yeah, please ask your question there. Just go off mute and you can ask your question with pleasure. Hello? I can't pronounce your name nicely. Luyineni, if you'd like to ask your question. Okay, if you want to type it, there's an option, I believe, where you can type your question, or otherwise just go off mute and interrupt me with pleasure. Okay, let's continue. This is Omelette, an Omani daughter. This is a magnificent cow, guys. A magnificent cow. Unfortunately, she's got a big bull calf who'd hide in what she looks like, but she's unbelievable. Remember I spoke earlier about a muzzle? A muzzle. She's got the muzzle. The oval eye I just spoke about, she's got it. She's got tremendous depth. She's got the wedge that's going on with her. She is just a super, super cow. She's compact and she's magnificent, and this is an excellent calf. This was Tennis's favorite calf, I think, when he came to see us the other day. It's a Casanova son, but she's a magnificent cow. Okay, let's look at her for a second. This is an Omani daughter. Omani 1634 is at Henk Buerta. He bought this bull from us on one of our previous sales. Genetically, 0442 we spoke about. Buster, 04507. Astrid, excellent cow. Astrid did very, very well for us in the Circle C herd. There's Circle C CR1226. Here we have her with Seiko. So Henk bought Seiko from us, and Henk is one of the guys who's really concentrated on buying his bulls from us. And a lovely combination of Omelette and Omani that came through here to produce really a superior, magnificent cow. And I think a head turner. Wait till you see her, you're going to agree with me. The bull calf at foot is Casanova. That's it. This is the cream yellow mustard version of Picasso and of Casanova. That's what they are. That's what they look like, and that's how they breed. This is as true to type of that genetic line as you will ever find. This hump is Picasso. 125%. That is Picasso. I can show you pictures of him when he was a youngster. That's what he looked like. It just grows and mushrooms and dwarfs a little bit. The same as Casanova. This is the splitting image. He's got the width between the eyes. He's got the compact head. Beautiful. He's lovely deep. He's got the length over there. He's got an excellent hind quarter. He's got the tail. He's got the legs. He's got the sheath. Lovely stud bull for the future. And he's got the genetic pedigree to go with it. So I think he's an excellent little calf and a nice package. This is a Samburu daughter. She's a standout cow in my opinion. She's outstanding. She's also got a nice muzzle on her. She's got these like little veins ploya in the head, which shows me a lot of character and a lot of future breeding for her as well. Beautiful animal, dark, deep black pigment. Samburu, again, so half sister to Amiga lot 20 out of this TLMO 6506, which was Baltazar, full sister to Batsheva lot 3 with 717 as well. So 717 and Biffle combined beautifully over here. This package, guys, I can't actually talk enough about this cow. Starting to rush a little bit, so forgive me, just to speed up the clock. But really and truly, this is a super cow, and one of my picks for the sale, and the cow that I would buy if I was a buyer. So I can't actually strengthen the point hard and fast enough. But this is a phenomenal cow, and the calf is excellent. The calf is by Bingo, 18563. There he is. His name is Bingo, who happens to be a Bontus son. Now Bontus is a Bond bull who was sold at a national sale to Conrad Hollenbach. He's now at Denga. He ultimately goes back to PM14R, and we have a son of his, which we're very lucky to get. So it's actually a Bond bull that made this, interestingly. So a Bond bull and a white cow made this like red calf with this kind of white undertone. Very cute, very nice. But he's an excellent little calf, excellent calf, and a very good package. This is Nobu. I think a firm favorite for lots of people, and for good reason, from just the photo alone. But if you look at this machine of a bull, this is a tank. This is a gorilla. This is a bear. This is a walrus. I don't know which actually is the right type of animal to describe this thing, but this is a bull that just shouts, "I'm a bull." So if you just look at this sculptured neck that he's got, I mean, wow. He's got these veins. He's got this dewlap. He's got the head. He's got the eye bank. I mean, this whole bull over here, this is how a bull must be. A bull must, it's the wedge is different to a cow. I mean, you can Google it and see for yourself. But if a bull doesn't have all of this, it's not a bull. And this is what this guy has. And this is what I think is appealing to a lot of people. But overall, his length, his balance, his depth, his sheath, his masculinity that's coming through is a superb son. And he's grey, and predictability-wise, those that are interested in white cattle, white genetics, this is a good option because he comes out of pure white animals. So this is Sniper. There's his father. There he is. Sniper ultimately goes back to PM14R, as you can see. The dam side is a Marula 25. Marula 25 was yellowish as a bull, if that makes a difference to people. This cow, NABO 711, is a cow that we bought out of Vessel as well. Vessel may has heard. This NABO 711, so she's produced Nobu, obviously, as a very good bull. She also produced a bull at Vessel by the name of Silver. I don't know what happened to Silver, where he is or isn't, but this cow, we flushed her, got an RCP of 334 days, very good cow, direct Kenyan animal, and I think something, okay, we'll get to your question in a second. No problem, I'll get to your question in a second when we finish. Okay, so this is Nobu once again, a firm favorite. Tina, sorry, we got a question, and if you want to help me with that for a sec. And his parents are white and grey. His EBVs are 107, very good. Dam's RCP we spoke about, and I think another potential herd sire for the future and for anybody that's looking for something special. Oh, and let me just come back to it for a sec. In this pedigree over here, he's unrelated, by the way, to 2459, 786, 494, and 622, some of those more common genetics that you see through the pedigree. So there's also a nice outcross opportunity for something a little bit different in terms of the pedigree and white and, gorilla of a bull we spoke about. Gelato, this is, gelato is in Italian, I think ice cream. But this is EP1409. We saw another daughter out of EP1409, which was, I think, Kiara and Kobu, I think the yellowish type of cow. Again, out of the Poppy family with 0329. Very good bull this. Years ago, we sold the house price, record price cow and calf in the breed, a Kelly family. And the Kelly family had a calf at foot. The calf at foot was sired by EP1409. An excellent bull. And a tragic story as to his demise because the bulls had a fight on a dam wall, and they knocked him over the dam wall and into the dam, and he landed up drowning in a dam. Very sad, but an excellent bull and an underrated bull. On the dam side, 717, Caesar, 0204. So excellent combination of genetics that's worked over here. This Elzu family also, Elzu BA02 03, and there was 9920. So the two Elzu cows have had an excellent, foundation block in our herd, in Francois Smith's herd, and other herds in the country, and I think for very good reason. So a very functional package. With the heifer calf is out of walnut again. But when you see her, you'll appreciate, guys. It's a hell of a nice heifer calf and a very functional package as well. There's walnut, because it's an A and a B. The A and the B, I mean, we can explain to you, and they're in the rules, but it's just based on the age of the calf and the pregnancy status of the cow, and that's why it's split into an A and B lot, but they will be sold together. The seller has the discretion to sell them separately, but I'll sell them together. There's walnut. He's the sire of the calf. As we march through it, lot 37. Okay, I'll answer this question just now with pleasure. I'll keep the question. I'll get to it in a second. I'll answer the question at the end because maybe there'll be other questions. Okay, so lot 37 is Zani, 16411. She's a 3-in-1 who we sold, bought back, offering again because I think that she's just functionally an excellent animal. This is a bull called Glory who was in Zambia. He's belonged to Simeon Hurwitz. Simeon Hurwitz bought him. We met up with Simeon at an auction, asked him nicely if we could have semen. We were the underbidder on the bull. He said, no problem, you're not a threat. You're in South Africa, I'm in Zambia. You can have the semen with pleasure. We quarantined the bull here on our farm, so I know the bull very well. And as a token of appreciation, Simeon gave us some semen, and that's how we managed to put this together. Flushed her with this excellent cow, 0616, with an RCP of 370, 9 calves, a lot of embryo calves, a direct Marula 25 daughter also, and a nice combination of genetics between Marula 25, line bred over there, as you can see, with KPO 21, and this excellent cow, Ginger, 0648, who went on into Tom Breitenbach's herd and really did an excellent job in India 9303, full sister to those famous brothers, Graphics, Goliath, there's another one, the name escapes me, but there's a few, there was 3 excellent brothers out of that combination. And again, I remember, as I said earlier, 303 is the same cow with 494 that made 717. I mean, that's all, it sounds like hocus pocus to you, but if you just look at the catalog for a second and actually download, if you use this QR code on the catalog and you download the extended generations, you'll see very quickly what I'm talking about in terms of the genetics. So this is a 3-in-1, and I think a very functional package that'll add value. This is Philippa. There's Philippas in Yolandi's herd. I think an underbidder was Dolph Kampman one year. He really desperately wanted a Philippa, and I think very feminine, very nice, very balanced, beautiful animal, beautiful cow out of Chorizo. Chorizo is a bull that's been very underrated in our herd, but yet been an excellent bull, and that's because he comes out of a top cow. This CFH 06855 was a herd builder in Skalk van Oudtshoorn's herd. I know Liz Riley's concentrated her Swaziland herd, Eswatini herd, a lot on this 06855. He comes out of 9513, was an excellent cow with CFH 0860, 9814. 9814 was also 494. So a nice combination of genetics there with 9901. 9901 was a 96615. 615. So here you have 615 with 9513, 2 excellent cows of like previous years and generations with 717. So this animal is line bred 494. There it is with 0204 and 0102. And 0102 is a full sister TLM to TLM 0101 and TLM 0011, who also goes back to 717 494. So it's actually triple bred 494. This animal, very good cow value. RCP 304/3, very nice, with a nice calf at foot out of Scorpio 18517, who's a King Sharka again. Nice package. Okay, Lanzeni, lot 39, second last lot on the sale, is a Rambo daughter. Rambo we sold and currently working at Ridwan Muller's herd. Lovely little heifer, very functional, well put together, nice medium framed animal, nice and feminine, good heifer out of Lanzeni. Lanzeni has got a nice combination of genetics with King Cobra. We spoke about King Cobra earlier, which is PM14R with Z9525. out of Viper. There's a direct daughter of Viper on the sale also, who was the inspector's #1 bull at the time of the Bosporat, with Eros, 2738 to 2748, excellent Kenyan genetics. Rose, the Rose lines played a fantastic role all over the show. Direct Marula 25 with KPO 21. KPO 21 was also the mother of 7-6. So another bull breeding family, etc. Here's graphics, which is NDA 9 with 303. Also more bull breeding families. So I think the potential in this heifer to breed a herd sire definitely exists, and a very nice heifer. The last lot of the day is a bull. Not many auctions finish off an auction with a bull, but I decided to leave one of the best for last. And I think this is an excellent bull. He's medium frame bull. He weighs 700 kilograms. He's an excellent bull, excellent top line, excellent capacity in him. And he is the last direct son of Segera TLM 0422, which makes Savuti a half brother to Picasso, a half brother to Sputnik. Sputnik is the bull that we sold to the Brookses, and then they resold him now onwards to Ntabanyoni, and Sputnik was out of 98. So here we have a bull, well, out of a cow line. This cow line, Segera, produced a herd sire with Rembrandt to make Picasso, with 98 to make Sputnik, with Viking now to make Savuti. And all of a sudden, we really appreciate the quality of the dam line. And the quality of this dam line, again, links back into this cow. This cow is the Gabriella line, the lot 15 line. Here we have 3534, we spoke about many times already in the presentation, who's the super sire who's bred them all. 2748 is the mother of Eros, and those that didn't believe me, let's just go back a lot and see. 2748 is Eros. There's 2748. So 2748 bred Eros, and 2748 bred Viking. 3534. Excellent genetics, guys. Magnificent bull, medium framed, compact, stocky, masculine, half brother of Picasso, and as I say, the last son, direct son of Segera that the industry knows. Segera is obviously dead. We don't have any more, and we're not obviously can't sell anymore either. So we'll be retaining semen and be using these bulls in flushing programs, AI programs as they go along. And there is Viking. So this is the herd sire that's responsible for a huge impact in our herd. He is the father of lot 16, Sunshine. He's the father of Savuti. He's the father of Saturn that we sold for 1.2 million rand. So this is Viking, an excellent bull, a direct 3534, a masculine bull, and a bull that's bred them both ways, male and female. And that's why good cow value of 103. So essentially, guys, that's 40 lots in just over 2 hours, 2 hours and like 5 minutes, because we started a bit late, which I'm very impressed with that we sped through this. And I think it's been excellent to see so many people that have stayed with us on the call and that have enjoyed it, and that have hopefully taken away something. I know it's a hell of a lot of information. To me, this is like passion. This is not work. This is not. This is just like riding a bicycle for me, or walking and chewing gum at the same time. It's something I know, I understand. It's why I enjoy it. And when I really go on and see these animals having an impact on other people's farms, that's what makes me carry on from day to day, time to time. So before I round off with the questions, because some people might decide to leave us now, I just want to invite you all again. Please make the effort. Please come and join us on Friday at the auction. Please come and join us on Saturday at the auction. If you can't be with us and you want to just watch the auction, bid, participate, do what you want, Meerkat will be available, Swiftly will be available, Farm Talk will be available, YouTube will be available, cell phones will be available, and ultimately, if you want to be a part of the action or at least see what's going on, then please log in and come. But really to experience these animals after painting for 2.5 hours almost through this webinar, I think it's the least you can do to actually come and see them and remember something. Again, I'm available all the time to answer questions, to help with advice, to come and visit you on your farms and actually, play my part, if I can, to assist in the little bit of knowledge that I am. I'm not an inspector. I'm not a technical advisor. All I am is a part-time cattle farmer from Johannesburg who's trying their best with a breed of cattle that I really enjoy and I'm passionate about. And this video will be uploaded. If Tinus just has to download it and then upload it, and he will download it, he will upload it to Facebook, to YouTube. We'll share the link out on WhatsApp or whatever. So those that want to participate, come back to an animal, pause, repeat, rewind. You can do that with pleasure. All right, let's open the questions. So if you want to go off your microphones, open the questions, put up your hand, and let's see. I've got a question here, guys, that I'm just going to read out. I wanted to confirm perhaps an elaboration to a strategy of stimulating an underrated cow using a great bull. So that's a good question. It's a good question. And I think it's the shortcut. It's the shortcut and the quickest cut to, building your herd, because the impact that a top sire has on the herd is 50% of the progeny. Now, we all know that, your retention is not always going to be, 100%, but at least you're going to start going in the right direction by trying to invest in the best herd sire that you potentially can. And we've seen it herd after herd, that the impact that a top bull has on a herd of cows has the ability to really change that herd and take it, 3 gears up in one cross and in one generation. What's also important to remember is that your heifer retention in your herd is going to be eternal. So the heifers that you have and the heifers that you're going to keep are going to grow out one day to become cows. So the impact that a bull is going to have in your herd is a marriage for life. It's very difficult without really slaughtering or dispersing of that entire calf crop to wean out the impact that a bull is going to have on a herd. So when you choose a bull, you've got to try and choose wisely. You've got to look at it as an investment potential. And with the Boran, I think that's easy because they last forever and their longevity remains for generations. It's not like other types of European breeds that really last 8 to 10 years at maximum, and then it's goodbye. These animals, we've got an animal that's running around in our herd who's born in 09. That's what is that? 26 years almost of breeding. No, sorry. That's carrying on with generational impact that the bull's having in our herd. And it is 26. Anyway, so it's just unbelievable what the impact of a top herd sire can have in the herd. Similarly, if you really take the flip side of that argument and you say, but hang on a second, and you go with like just something with testicles, then that's something with testicles. And I'm not trying to be funny or difficult or nasty, but that just something with testicles, that impact is going to be there in your herd forever. And that just something with testicles and those mistakes that unfortunately will be made will last a lifetime of eternity. So if you can find a bull, afford a bull, come from a reputable breeder who does his homework, who takes it seriously, who does his weights, who does his DNAs, who knows what he's doing, who understands the genetics behind it, then try and invest in something like that and put him on cows. But, that's the impact and that's the importance that we see in the upgrading appendix phase also, and the impact that a top bull definitely has. But I just want to end off the answer to this question by saying that it takes a cow to breed a bull. And you will notice, and I've said it a few times, and the clever guys in the industry will tell you, but that bull has come out of a good cow. And we've said it today many times. All those young calves and all the sires have come out of good maternal lines. Doesn't mean that the direct mother has to be a good cow, but the good cows are in the pedigree and they will click. They will click. And that's why you'll get a good sire. So it takes a cow to breed a bull, and it takes bulls to improve a herd coming from a low base. So I think hopefully that answers the question. All right. Who else has got questions? I like the questions. They're challenging, but I like them. So does anybody else have other questions, or are we going to call it a day? Anybody? Guys, are there any other questions out there? Are you sure? Anybody?
Hey, Simeon, Hugo here again. And
Yeah,
you asked 3 times, so I might as well just pop up, right?
Okay.
Just thanks again for your time. So phenomenal bulls, phenomenal female animals here. if you look at some of the buyers, again, entrance into the boron market, South African, Zambia, Zimbabwe, guys that are just setting things up, right? They're looking for male animals, female animals. There's a few statements that stood out for me. What you said is oftentimes you made the statement like the figures are one thing, but the animal physically and upon personal inspection needs to speak to you and needs to adhere to some of your standards. And how does that factor into your breeding decisions? And also, if you look at some buyers considering male and female animals with, for breeding purposes, how do we start as entrants into the market, interpreting the data, but also looking at these physical attributes when you inspect these animals? What stands out for you? What would you look for as a new breeder?
Okay, it's again a great question, a controversial question. So I don't know if I'm going to get into hot water or not hot water by answering the question, but you have to look at all of it. You have to look at the entire package actually to make educated decisions. You can't look at one aspect versus another aspect and highlight the one aspect to try and trick yourself into thinking that that's the way to go. Almost like Google. Google's amazing. I mean, you go onto Google, you ask Google a question, invariably you'll find the answer on Google that you are looking for. Might not necessarily be the right answer, but it's the one that you're going to be satisfied with afterwards. So the same applies here. If you are a figures person and you only want to look at figures, I don't think that that's necessarily the right way to go at all, because there's an animal that you're looking at as well. So you have to appreciate the animal, the picture, the puzzle as what you see. So that for me comes primary. I look visually first. I like to look visually at the animal. I like to look at the conformation, the aesthetics of it, the bull being a bull, the cow being the cow, of what does that mean by definition, a heifer by being a heifer, a young calf at foot with growth and potential to become into something. And I like to look at that. I mean, eating is with the eye. You go into Wimpy, you pick up the menu, and I'm sure a statistic can be done on a Wimpy menu as to what's the most popular dishes that they sell. And I can promise you it's the ones that have got the photos that are attached to them. And that's what outsells everything else. So again, I'm not talking about buying on photos. No, not at all. In fact, it's a mistake. And there it is. I'm saying it's a mistake to buy on photos. You got to buy animals if you see animals. If you're serious about what you're doing, you got to go to the sale. You got to go to the breeder, and you got to actually see these animals for yourself, because they're three-dimensional beings, and left, right, back, front will tell you a different picture to what just a side profile, static photo is going to tell you. But the eating is with the eye. So the animal must be visually appealing to you as well. You must be proud of that animal, and you must be excited about farming with that animal. You're not farming with paper. You're not farming with pedigree. You're farming with an animal. So that's the simplistic way, I think, as an entrant into the market to look at it. But again, I wouldn't make a whole-hearted, shoot from the hip decision as to what to lay money and what to invest in without looking at the rest of the pieces of the puzzle. Those pieces of the puzzle are the EBVs. Those EBVs are scientifically calculated. They change monthly. It's a combination of weights and fertility and reproduction stats that is done by actuaries that just regurgitate through graphs and through metric models as to what those EBVs ultimately spit out to be. Yes, we can question and argue, but ultimately they do mean something for a reason. And I'd look at them, and invariably, when you've got a top animal in front of you, its figures are going to be excellent as well. If you've got an excellent animal in front of you, but the figures are looking like not great at all, well, then there's a question to ask then, why is that? Is it because, the breeder didn't do his part to complement the animal? Is it, lack of recording calves that has created fertility issues, but meanwhile the animal did actually have calves, etc., etc. So it's manipulated a bit when it starts to go haywire. But ultimately, and invariably, good figures, good cattle will correlate all the time. And then the genetic pedigree. I mean, we spoke about it during this seminar about the lines that have clicked. So if you take that, as we used that three-way cross, of PM14R, 494, and 2459. That spine, if you want to say, that spine, there's a spine in a soccer team, a rugby team, etc. That spine will be found in most of the herds in South Africa. And I think most of those animals will be good animals. They'll be superior animals, or they'll at least be breeding consistently and true to type, middle of the road type of animals. And that's because the genetics don't lie. So I've said it, a few times, the genetics don't disappear, they don't evaporate, they just carry on going and going for generations. And the puzzle needs to come together. But as a person that's starting out, I think you got to buy what you like. You got to enjoy what you farm with, and that's why the Boran is so diverse, and that's why the Boran is so appealing from an investment perspective and to many markets and many buyers. I mean, those that want red and believe cattle should be red have the option to do that. The same with those that want white and believe white is best, white is bright, go with white, and then bont as well. But when you put bont on bont, you don't get a bont calf. You get other colors that come through with it. So that's the genetic beauty, and that's the diversity of what this breed has to offer. It's a low maintenance animal to farm with. It's an easy animal to farm with. I mean, we know this. The stocking density is great. The theft or the risk of not losing them due to theft is a reality that we live with in this country. Make no mistake, stock theft exists. These animals are worth value. They're worth value by slaughtering them, and they're worth value by breeding with them as well. So people buy that, they get stolen, they rebrand, they move them across the country, and all of a sudden they got, a free bull for the rest of their life to breed calves for them. And so that's why they also get stolen. So the Boran at least mitigates that risk to a certain degree. But I don't know if I've answered the question, Hugo, well enough or not well enough. But ultimately, if you want to buy a Toyota, you're buying the Toyota because you like the car, you like the reliability, you like the brand, you like what you're getting, you like the resale value, and that's why you go with the Toyota versus the Ford. They're good products, but you're going to choose one of them, and you're not really going to look at the specs, you're not really going to look at the manual, you're not really going to look at all of that in order to guide you into which one to buy. That'll come afterwards, but ultimately you're going to walk into the Toyota dealership because you want the Toyota, not the Ford. And that's because the visual appearance of the animal and of the product is what's going to attract you and draw you to your investment decision. And then the rest of it comes afterwards.
I appreciate that perspective. One more follow-up. Your semen offering of King Sharko, it's clear that holds a soft spot in your heart there, and it's played a big role for you guys. So if you look at King Sharko and just the frozen semen offering and looking at it, when you consider some female animals like Lot 1, a phenomenal female, Lot 19, Ella, of course, 21, 24-8, how would you consider the frozen semen lot as opposed to like a Savuti Omega, to think about how you would incorporate some of these female animals with some of the male offerings on the auction as well? I'd appreciate your insights on that.
Okay, so the frozen semen lot is really aimed at those that are going to be progressive in embryo flushing programs, because with frozen semen today and with in vitro, and in vitro is kind of overtaken in vivo. In vivo is the conventional way of doing embryo flushing programs, because for many reasons, but it's taken over and it's become more popular, and the semen goes a hell of a long way. For example, you don't even have to use a full straw. You can use half a straw and freeze the remaining half of the straw if you want to do it. So the frozen semen is aimed at those people that want to do embryo program and multiple reproduction techniques because of the longevity of it. So I mean that's why you take your top animals, you'll take top females, proven bull breeders, proven animals that have done very well, and flush those with superior semen like a King Sharko or like a Picasso or something like that, and actually create multiple progeny to come out of foundation stock that have proven themselves. That's where the frozen semen really is. To buy frozen semen 12 straws and use on an AR program, obviously it's possible, but it's expensive. It's expensive because some technicians like to use 2 straws, some like to use 1 straw. The conception rate is 60%. In fairness, sometimes 50%, sometimes 80%, but I don't know how many of those really ring true. But sometimes they're there. So to waste and to use a lot of semen like that on AI expensive semen is not really the way to go. If you're buying a bull, actual live animal like a Savuti is the one you mentioned, or any of the others, Well, imminently you've got the potential to tap semen, store semen, keep semen for yourself, register the bull, sell semen. If the bull meets the criteria, you sell semen of the bull, and you can get your investment back if you can through the semen sale. That's another revenue model. And you've got the ability to use that semen, prove the bull, and use the semen for years to come, sell the bull afterwards, and you've still got the semen in the flask. But ultimately, you're buying a bull like that to be a breeding bull. You're buying a bull like that to work on a herd of cows, a herd of heifers. You're buying that bull for crossbreeding if you're going to put him on a herd of Bonsmaras or Simmentalas or Simbras, for example. So you're using that bull for what it's designed to be, and that multiplying machine that's going to breed you good calves, superior calves. The reality, all bulls do it. One or two not so great calves, but that's also fine, because those not so great calves must disappear from the stud system, and they must get scrapped, and they must go into a feedlot, and they must go into beef production, because that's ultimately what we are doing as farmers. We must produce beef for people to eat, and for sustainability for the world. But to answer your question, if you're looking to buy a semen lot, whether it's King Shark or any semen lot on a sale, then it must be with a game plan, and that game plan must be, or ultimately will be, for embryo flushing programs. What's also interesting about us is that we're still one of the few farmers that are offering semen lots in batches of 12. Batches of 12 was normally the done thing when it was conventional flushing programs, because you used to use 6 straws on a cow for a flush. That's the conventional in vivo way. So with 12 straws, at least you guaranteed 2 flushes, or 2 cows could be flushed with the same bull. With in vitro today, and the fact that semen goes so long and so far and can be used so widely, you can really breed a herd of 150 calves today out of 12 straws of semen very easily. And you work that back into the capital cost of the semen, you realize that your calves on foot cost you probably the same as a good cappuccino does today in a restaurant. But anyway, that said, most farmers today, most breeders are only selling semen batches, in groups of 5 or 6 or something like that, because the semen can go so far. And that's across most breeds. So to still get the opportunity to buy 12 straws is a semen bank with in vitro possibility for a long, long time. I'll give you an example. We sold semen of the bull Picasso to Colin in Zimbabwe, Senior Boran. We did his program for him with Embryo Plus, where it was a big program, lots of donor cows, 12 straws of semen. I think he's produced to date well over 120 calves, live calves on the ground. He's got over 100 pregnancies plus embryos still to come out of the 12 straws of semen, and he's still got semen left in the tank. So that he hasn't even used all the 12 straws yet, and he's probably sitting, by the time we finished with the numbers, on over 200 calves that are on the ground. So that's insane business model, unbelievable return on investment, genetic potential. I'm not saying all of them are going to be superstars, not at all. But if you just look at the investment made in the semen versus the return a year later, which is what it is, because it's 9 months of gestation. So by the time you fertilize with that animal, within 9 months, you've already got a return on the ground. A few months later, you've got something that's sellable, slaughterable, returnable. It's a tremendous business model. So I think that the concept of buying semen exists. It's a good one. And if you've got a plan and you've got cows that you feel that your bull's going to, or the bull's going to click well with, then it's a no-brainer investment opportunity to buy frozen semen on an auction. In order to be sold on an auction, frozen semen on an auction, the semen has to have passed, society rules and regulations. Now, every breed society's got its own rules and regulations, and the Boran changes the rules and its regulations from time to time, but they're strict. So not every bull actually becomes a semen donor. So when you have the opportunity to buy semen on an auction from a semen donor that's been approved by the society, that's also gone through the medical tests, because this is not semen that's somewhere tapped on a farm by your local vet. This is semen that needed to be tapped under quarantine conditions. The animal needed to go through various health tests and regulations. The semen, as I said, needed to be done under quarantine. The animal itself needs to be registered with the Department of Agriculture and Fisheries, or whatever it's called today. I'm not sure. But the bull has a certificate as an AI registered bull from the government, from the country, never mind the breed society. So when you're getting semen opportunity on a sale, must know that a lot of money also gone into the investment to make that semen under quarantine conditions, to go through the registration process, and it was done because the bull is a superior animal and a good bull. And that's why, King Sharka fits that criteria, Picasso fitted that criteria, and others also. So that answers, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, definitely. And certainly Picasso and the mileage that was gained from that semen purchase has been an inspiration from a business model perspective. One last question is, with the males on offer here, considering from a commercial herd perspective, what would your summary statement be on what some of these males can bring to a commercial herd? Thinking about how you can use artificial insemination and frozen semen, to multiply that, just as we've just spoken. But bulls like Google, Savuti, if you look at Omega as well, and what that can bring just from your feedlot experience as well with different breeds. What do these males kind of bring to the party from a commercial perspective as well, for some of those guys who might not be pursuing the purest vein of stud animals?
Okay, that's an excellent question, and I'm going to answer it with practical examples. So if your budget allows, and that's the question, if your budget allows to buy the best bull that you can, and the best bull recommended and the best bull that's rated, and you're going to use it on a commercial herd, the impact on your calves are going to be better and of superior value than something else that you just would have somewhere used with regards to testicles. The example I'm going to give you is this. When we sold Jumbo, it's well publicized. I don't like to talk money and figures. It's not my nature. But we sold Jumbo for 2.3 million rand, which is a tremendous amount of money by any stretch of the imagination, into Zambia, into Mutanda Farms, the Kachuri family. They had a very small herd of Boran cattle, and they bought Jumbo to put Jumbo through semen value onto their commercial herd. So they wanted to create a superior herd of commercial cattle, phenotypically superior, as a stamping ground, as a stamping point throughout their commercial herd with the best bull that they knew money could buy. So they went and they did that. They bought the bull, they tapped the bull, they AR'd with him, they used him, they put him on I don't know how many heifers, and they now have generation of F1, first generation, or Appendix A, if they're registered or not, it doesn't matter, young Jumbo animals that are running around and created a nice phenotype within their commercial herd. And I'll do that for 2 generations, Jumbo plus another one, and then crossbreed that with limousines. That's the example that they have. But they wanted to create a foundation herd coming out of one sire, a super sire, that was going to create consistency for them. The same, I can give you other examples in the Bonsmara breed as well, where some of the highest priced animals that have been sold have gone into commercial herds to do exactly the same thing, to create a base cow, to create a base product of consistency, reliability, phenotype, so that becomes their mother cow line out of a single sire, and then obviously crossbreed that or put something on top of that. But at least with baking the cake right in the beginning, they knew what they were using, they knew what the genetics was inside the mother line, and they knew what they could then move on with it. Because just because you're going into commercial herd doesn't mean there's no genetics in that commercial herd. Doesn't mean just because there's no paperwork through a registration as a society that there's no genetics in that herd. So if you're really serious and you want to create a base product, a phenotypical base product, then you must know what's inside your Smarty box, because unfortunately most commercial herds are that. You want to sort out the Smarty box, put all the blue ones together, the green ones together, and the yellow ones together. Well, it's going to take a sire line to do that, and it's going to take 2 or 3 generations in order to really, separate the Smarty box. So that's what some of the Oaks have done. And to take a bull like any of these on the sale, they will do that. So if you want to go into the color scheme, again, we're not talking about color variants and like the game industry that went into a color variant phase of breeding, which we all know. But if you have a red herd, then you're not really going to buy, a white bull or a born bull and put that on your base herd as commercial cows for red. You're going to go with a Savuti, you're going to go with the Mowgli or a Google or something like that, and you're going to have a plan behind it. But the truth of it is that any of the bulls on the sale can be used in a stud. They can all be used on a commercial herd. If you've got a big herd of commercial cows and you're going to do exactly what the Mutanda guys did, AR, tap AR over 500 animals and just work back that investment as to what the bull cost you in order to get, 400, 450 calves on the ground. It's not much. It's not much. The capital cost is obviously high, but the return on investment is exponential. And especially if you're going to have a base product that's phenotypically great. Now, if you are thinking about going into the commercial space of breeding Boran cattle, I can tell you that's the place to go, in my opinion, because the Boran cow is a superior cow. It's a superior phenotypically functional cow, low maintenance, tick resistant, hardy, herd instinct, all exists from the first generation cross. And we see it sale after sale that the commercial animals are going for excellent prices. Some of the commercial Boran cattle today are selling on public auctions for a lot more money than some other stud animals are selling for on the same type of year and the same type of conditions. So there's definitely an impact and an interest in buying commercial Boran cattle. And if they are phenotypically standardized, then you get an immediate 15 to 20% premium on the price of that lot. So if they're all red, or they're all blessed, or they're all white, or they're all burnt, or they're all this, or they're all that, and they've been looked after, and they all look together healthy, all dehorned nicely, then you're already getting a premium on that lot and what you're selling. Which also means if you're getting a premium on the female side, you're going to get a premium on the sire side as well, on the bull side, on the weaner steer side. Because when you put those animals into a public auction, your weekly auction, and you've got a nice group of 20 of them that enter the ring together. I mean, I've sat on these public auctions, many of them. I know exactly how it works, the buyers, etc. You get a nice herd of phenotypically identical animals that come into that ring, and they get weighed beautifully. They will invariably go for a higher price than the one that's a smarty box on the scale at the same time. So again, it goes back to my answer earlier, previous question of eating with the eye. So if the eye tells you that this is a nice herd and it's a uniform herd and something to look at, visually appealing on the commercial side, then the feedlot agent is going to pay that, is going to identify that as well. The buyer in your local weekly auction is going to identify those traits and pay a premium, an extra 20, 30, 50 cents on the package. And your heifer, by the time it's in calf, or even an open heifer coming through a production sale and an auction, even as a guest sale, will get good prices. I think, I don't have the averages in front of me, but the Friends auction that we had in May, I think the average price for the commercials, and we had over 100 commercials on the sale, was probably close to 30,000 Rand on average, between 28 and 30,000 Rand, to be good. But again, it's the functionality, and it's because I was very strict in what we allowed onto the sale, and the uniformity makes a big difference, and that comes out of the sire. So if you use a good sire and you know what you're doing, as another example, sorry if I'm long-winded, but it's all them coming to mind. There's a guy, a good friend of ours, Peter Erasmus. Peter Erasmus bought the bull from us. I remember making the joke in the speech at the Friends auction. He bought a stud bull from us by the name of Harry, 180,000 Rand. He paid for the bull, expensive bull, a good bull, a polled red bull. And he gave him 100 females to work on in 1 year, and he tapped him and he worked him and he put him into the commercials, etc., etc. He's got a lot of cattle, and he's got a phenotypically identifiable herd now out of one bull and one investment, which he had to stand up after paying 180,000 Rand for the bull. He had to stand up, go to the bar, get a whiskey, down a whiskey without stopping, start again because he paid so much. But in the end, he created a herd of hundreds and thousands of cattle out of one sire that's created a stamp for him, and he got the return when he sold on the Friend sale as well 2 months ago. So that answers, I think that answers, there's no return on investment like cattle, we know it. They really are investment potential vehicles as long as they stay alive and obviously don't get stolen, and you look after them with good management. But the truth of it is that whatever you spend on good animals will come back in the long run.
Yeah, it's something that's really a powerful attracting force from a business perspective, and just the business model is something that's been attracting us. And I want to challenge everyone on the call. If you're on the call and you're a Boran enthusiast, I want to challenge you to invite someone who's not involved in the cattle industry at all. to come and observe online and even in person this, this auction and some of the other initiative that is going on. It really is inspiring, and there's a lot to offer from a business perspective. And all the best for the auction. Thank you so much for your insights. Appreciate that.
Sure. Thank you, Hugo. Pleasure. Okay, guys. Anybody else got any questions? I'm all ears, with pleasure. Just take yourself off mute and fire away. I don't know what's happened to my screen. I can't really see so much anymore. But yes, any questions, guys?
Hi, Simeon.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Sorry, I came in late for the call. Is there a chance that we can get a recorded video of the presentation? I'm very, very much interested in the Boran breed, so I just want to get an insight what you highlighted about the auction.
Yes, absolutely. So it's recorded as we go along, and it will be shared. It just needs to be downloaded. Tinus from Farmbook will do it for us and will help us. So it will be downloaded and shared on all the platforms across social media. Facebook is the major one, I think, for cattle marketing, and Instagram. WhatsApp as well. So if you want to send me your details, and if I don't have them, I'm not sure, but just send me your details. We'll share the link on WhatsApp, as well as YouTube. We'll post it up on YouTube also. So if you can't find it, you're welcome to get hold of me or Tinus, Farm Talk, and we'll help you. But yes, to answer your question, absolutely. This is recorded and it will be shared and broadcast. If you want to go through the pain or the enjoyment of listening to almost a 3-hour conversation, but it will be available. Yeah.
I'll prefer to call it the enjoyment.
Okay,
Thanks,
great. Cool. All right. Anybody else got any other questions? I'm all ears. You sure? You sure? Okay. All right. I was waiting for Rogers to come and ask a question. He's normally quite good at that, but clearly Rogers is still there, but he's got no questions. Okay, guys. Then I think we'll call it. I wish you all a good night. And I wish you all a good night and a travel safe. Regards to all your families. Have a good season ahead. This winter's almost over. Then comes the summer and the rains, and it comes with its own excitement. But I really, again, stress the point. I look forward to seeing you over the weekend. And yeah, keep in touch. Carry on breeding. And we'll see you soon. So yeah, have a good night, guys.
Thank you so much, Simeon. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Cheers, guys. Bye-bye.